we've been able to do that so far. We've been able to communicate really well during the week in preparation for the race, and I think we were able to get this again this week. We honestly did not expect to be as fast as we were during practice. Hopefully, we can repeat those laps again in qualifying and have a steady car that will keep us in the top 10 during the race.
All right, man. Well, good luck tonight in your Red Bull. It's number 72 Chevrolet SS is qualifying. It's just about ready to get it away. Good luck tonight, buddy. And we saw you a lot last week in Phoenix, so see if we can get you on camera today at Auto Club.
10-4, bud. Have a great broadcast.
Thank you.
That was your driver, the number 72 Red Bull Chevy SS, Luis Salmazo. I do want to quickly, before qualifying starts, guys, apologize for any stream issues we have tonight. I'm still working out a few little kinks. We had some issues over the course of the weekend and later last week with some issues with Twitch. So if you guys see any delays, any stuttering, any issues, please let me know. Stream showing okay for now, but I do want to make sure and double check on the quality. So as we get things going, Colin, here for the open car qualifying that we run here in ECR, that means every car on track at the same time, or as many as want to be. We got to bring the weather into effect. I know you went out there on track. One of the advantages to virtual racing, went out there and tested a little bit before. We got a little bit of a wind, 10 miles an hour, I believe you said south-southwest, which is just on the exit of turn 4. What did you feel out of the car that was with that wind?
Well, John, it really made the car tight loose off turn 4, where it pushed the car towards the wall, and where you have so much wheel into the car, it makes it loose. Troubling for some drivers, really helpful for others. And I think with these guys being able to use the setup and the draft in qualifying, the draft plays a huge effect here at a big track like Auto Club. Using that effect in qualifying, I don't think they should have too much trouble with it tonight.
But as we get into the race, certainly going to be something to keep an eye on with these cars as tight as they get here at Auto Club. We know this track synonymous for its 4-5 wide racing. We don't see a lot of that here in the league. These guys are pretty calm and respectful. We see it more on the cup side and in the public rooms. But certainly going to be fun to put these cars door to door in a parking lot and then add a 10-mile-an-hour wind. Did you see the West Shore weather there? 78 degrees, excuse me, 105 degrees on the track. Nothing too crazy. It is California. It's a little on the warm side, but that's what you get with the West Coast swing. Beautiful weather, not too hot, not too cool, just enough for some grip and some slides. So it should be a fun race. Top of the charts right now, we'll take a quick look. I believe it's going to be, no shocker, Anthony Ditchner currently sits on the pole. Mark Figueroa is second. Chuck Harrell up to third. So Anthony, again, dominant early on in the qualifier.
Absolutely, John. And watching and talking to some of the drivers in the garage area all week long, they say Anthony's really fast. He's been fast all week long. He's been consistently fast, and that's why I talked to him. He said that he felt that if this race comes down to a consistency factor, as it did at the beginning of last night's race, he says that he feels he has one of the most advantages. And Stephen Massey jumps to the top of the charts.
Stephen Massey to the top of the charts and immediately sideways down there in turn number 1. Not sure what happened there. Auto Club, a track that we'll see throughout the night that these guys pretty much can use any part of. It's not a track that in a fixed setup I think you see a lot of guys using anything but the bottom, maybe 2-3 lanes. But with an adjustable car in these open setups, you wonder if we see anybody build a Kyle Larson car and get up there next to the wall. I haven't seen it a lot in practice, but throughout the race it might be the place to pass.
And John, it very well could. I don't think you're going to be able to see guys be able to get the outside as, different factors that a lot of guys run up there. Obviously, the rubber buildup doesn't play really into a factor here on iRacing. But I do think you'll see guys try to bring in that second and third lane into the turns and try to get the run off the corner. A lot on oval racing, especially here at big tracks like Auto Club, as Nick Groth jumps to the top of the charts with a beautiful lap of a 6.22. You have to pass on the exit of the corner. That always plays into a factor. So I think you'll see a lot of guys maybe try to build in that second and third groove to be able to get that run off the turn.
And Auto Club, a different track in the sense that these corners are longer than the straightaways on some short tracks. So these things are something that are almost a race within themselves as getting through the corner. It's not a one-part corner like you would see at a typical mile-and-a-half track where it's, entry, apex, and off. This is a corner that a lot of times has to be managed almost like its own racetrack in the sense that you have to hit your marks perfect and you almost race through the corner, and as you said, you pass off. You don't make a lot of moves going in because of the fact that it's such a long corner. So we're going to see these guys build setups, I think more for the run off, less for the run in, which with the horsepower differential could be tricky, but coming off last week, these guys seem to have a good grip, and hopefully we see tonight some very good racing.
Absolutely, John. Don't be surprised to see it. We got 18 drivers taking their time so far, and I mean the guys that have run competitive top 12 all within half a second of each other. And with qualifying times, that's not much, especially at a big track like Auto Club, where different lines, different drafts, and different factors come into play.
And speaking of different, you mentioned different factors there. Matthew Thunhorse making his first career ECR Cup Series start tonight, subbing for the currently suspended AJ Scarborough after some incidents we'll mention later on in tonight's race that happened last week at Phoenix, a few things and a dust-up after the race and so on and so forth. But Matthew Thunhurst making his first career start for Anthony Titchener's team, Haters Make Us Famous. So he's in third. We saw AJ in the race, not suspended from race activities, just the race itself, in here earlier, working on a setup and helping that team the best he can. And I think they've got something good under that car. He's currently in third, only a 10th off the lead.
Absolutely, John. So far, doing very well with a 2nd, 3rd, 8th, and 9th so far to be able to turn a lap. I don't see Joshua Wallace turning a lap so far. I don't think he's made a time, maybe buying his time, maybe wanting to start in the back. But so far, 2nd, 3rd, 8th, and 9th is not a bad way to start out the night.
Not at all. And we talked to Anthony pre-race, and I hope the stream caught it about him talking about what he wanted out of Matthew tonight. Just finish the race, and if he can do that, he'll be fine. So if he can run in the top 5 for Anthony tonight, I mean, that's well above what you can expect. So Anthony looking like he's got himself a good setup under that car. Obviously a team, they're probably all working with a version of the same setup tailored to their driving style. So might be something good under that car, might be a team to watch as we go forward tonight.
And John, I do want to point out that Nick Groth currently in P1 on the speed charts, but if you remember back to Atlanta, John, he started outside front row. He had a bad, fast car, but he wasn't able to control it and got loose and ended his race very early on in Atlanta. So he has to be careful to make sure that his car is as stable as it is fast.
We say it all the time between ourselves and different races that we do on here, is race pace and qualifying pace are two very different skill sets. You see guys even on the cup level that they come out and they can throw down a bad fast qualifying lap, but then their race pace is just off, and that can be in a setup, it can be in the driver, be a variety of different things. Nick Groth, one of those guys that he throws down very quick laps, and I think sometimes in a race almost too quick. We saw him, just a mental mistake in Atlanta, just kind of overdrive the race car and put himself in a bad spot. So maybe needs to work a little bit on the race pace and less on the qualifying pace, because he certainly has qualifying speed.
Absolutely, John. I couldn't agree more. And it's not just Nick Groth. I'm not trying to pick on Nick in any sort of way. It's just drivers like Nick. And I consider myself one of them, John. I can go out there and I can hot lap a very nice lap. And then I can go out there and run. I can qualify 2nd and go run 8th and 9th in the race. So I'm very similar to Nick in that sense.
No, you're right on, and talking about our own personal experiences, I'm the exact opposite. I'll qualify, and you know this, I've never qualified. What do I have, 13 career poles and almost 600 starts, so I certainly don't qualify well, but when it comes to race pace, I can serve, and I think that's just a driving style thing. I think that's why you have a couple hundred wins, and I have 20, so I think it just goes to show the difference in driving styles, and it's something that you pick up and you learn as you race with these guys more and more, that certain guys you're going to see on the front row, a Brad Keselowski, a Joey Logano, that are up there all the time, and then certain guys are going to come win the race, and it's just going to be something these guys have to adapt and learn. A lot of these guys still fairly new to iRacing, some of these guys are vets, and they'll learn, they'll pick up, and I think Nick will certainly do that. He's a very good racer. We've raced with him plenty in pubs, and I think he'll be just fine going forward.
I couldn't agree more, and absolutely, you gotta take a look here at Anthony Titchener. He's really using the draft, ironically, to Nick Groth's teammate of the 00, Mark Figueroa, trying to get the best lap that he can, trying to beat Nick Groth as time is winding down in qualifying. 1.5 minutes left before the time runs out, and right there he ran a better lap, but not quite close enough to beat Nick Groth. A 6.59 by Anthony Titchener.
And isn't that heartbreaking behind the wheel when you put that lap down and you see that time start flashing on the box in the lower right, and then your position doesn't change because it's just 40 thousandths off of the pole. So consistently,
and he's going to make his
here.
way back out there right now.
He's going to try. Looks like he stepped on that gas just a little bit too hard.
Oh, he's got to hustle out there.
We're on a very low gear ratio in that first gear. Certainly tricky to get off pit road.
Very curious, John, is Joshua Wallace was 2nd fastest in practice and has not made a qualifying time. I'm not sure if he wants to buy his time or what's going on there.
If I remember correctly, and I'm not exactly sure, might be completely wrong here, last night's Xfinity Series race, somebody was mentioning a frame rate issue and that they wanted to go to the back, and I believe it might have been Josh Wallace. Like I said, I'm not 100% sure, but it could be a technical issue causing him to go to the back. If not, then erase what I just said. But somebody last night was complaining of frame issues, and if that is Josh, that would explain the lack of the qualifying run here.
Well, John, I'm telling you what, Anthony Fisher, if he's going to get a good lap, it's going to be now. Right behind, I believe that's the 50 of Matthew George. He's going to be right in his draft. If Anthony can hit his marks, if he's going to beat Nick Roth's time, it's going to be on this lap.
We'll hop on board with a new feature. We're going to try to start working in here to the broadcast, the gyro cam. We'll hop on board with Anthony Titchener as he runs his final lap. You'll get just a little bit of a taste of the banking here at Auto Club. It's not much, but it'll tilt the car a little bit. You see him, as Colin said, strategically using that draft, timing his place just so he's not too close to the car but not too far back. A little bit of feather
This
in
is
the
going to be
throttle.
the last lap right here.
Tell you what, this looks like a good
it's
lap.
Going to be here, John.
Good solid line. He's got all that draft.
I don't know if he's going to be able to get it or not. He did.
Anthony Titchener, your pole sitter tonight at Auto Club. Just like that, the last run coming to the checkered, and he gets it done.
And we got it all on here right on MOTV, John.
Yes, sir, we certainly did. An exciting qualifying, and that can only mean for an exciting race. So your top five pretty consistent all throughout qualifying. Matthew Thunhorst did end up with that 5th position. Mark Figueroa is going to qualify 4th. Stephen Massey, who was on the pole at one point in time. 3rd, Nick Groth, who sat on the pole for most of the qualifying. 2nd, and Anthony Titchener playing a Brad Keselowski of sorts, coming in at the last second and stealing that pole away. So that's your top five for tonight's event, and we'll set the rest of the field as we get this field gridded up.
Absolutely, John. I'm going to see if we can get a word here with our in-race reporter, Kevin Cook, in the number 45 car. Hey, Kevin Cook, this is Colin up from the ECR broadcast booth, buddy. You got a copy?
Yeah, I got a copy. How you doing?
I'm doing great, man. And so far, man, you are the points leader in the ECR Cup Series. You're struggling here tonight. I talked to you last night. You said you're not looking forward to Auto Club. So what's your goal tonight as you try to hold on to the points lead that you have?
Pretty much just salvage a top 20 finish and maybe a top 15 if I can, and try not to get in a wreck like I did last night.
Well, man, you start 19th on the grid tonight, mid to the back of the pack. You mentioned that you weren't fast here. You mentioned you didn't really have that great of a car. Are you strategically going to try to play this game out, or are you just going to hopefully buy your time and hope you can just pick off spots here and there?
Well, I actually kind of strategically placed myself in the back because I wanted a pit stall a little closer to the entrance to pit road, and I got what I wanted. I'm back in the back on the pit road, but I should be able to get up inside the top 10. I think the car is fast enough for that, but we'll see what it plays out, and hopefully I can make a couple of good pit stops and get me a couple of spots on pit road.
Absolutely, man. And you mentioned, we talked about earlier last week, the tempers over flaring. Do you see anything like that carrying over to tonight?
Not really tonight, but you might see tempers from tonight get a little flare over to Martinsville next week, and then on to Bristol.
10-4, man. Well, good luck tonight. Starting in the 19th position, that's Kevin Cook in the number 45 Star Wars Chevrolet.
Certainly one to watch out for. He was fast last night in the Xfinity Series before he got caught up in one of those few wrecks we had last night. A very clean race in that race. A race you actually won last night. So going forward, you know probably better than anyone. What's to look for to get to the front in this race?
Well, John, I think before anything, it's going to be tire conservation. I think you're going to see a lot of long green flag runs tonight, and that's what hurt me early on in the first green flag run. And it's something that both guys who started first and third, Anthony Titchener and Stephen Massey, seem to be very good at tire conservation. They really were fast on the long run last night. So that's really, I believe, the main concept that you're going to have to focus in on tonight.
And this track, as they mentioned plenty in the Cup race on Sunday, and we'll probably mention plenty tonight, the oldest asphalt surface on the NASCAR schedule. It's certainly bumpy, it's certainly rough, and it's a wild ride out there. So tires very important. Saving that car very important. You're going to see a lot of wheeling tonight. But Colin, if you want to go ahead and set the grid, the pace car's got him on the track, and I'll let you run through the top 15.
Absolutely, John. Well, we talked to Anthony Titchener earlier, John. He starts right on the pole, back-to-back weeks, and his number 87, Jim Beam Belay, starts on the inside front row. He's going to choose the inside as Nick Groth in 19. He's been fast all week long. He's going to start outside front row. Stephen Massey, he ran well last night. He finished third last night. He starts third tonight. His number 97, Sharpie Toyota. He's going to start on the inside. Mark Figueroa, teammates of Nick Groth, he's going to start in the 00. He's going to start outside second row. Matthew Thunhorst making his Cup debut. He's going to start fifth tonight in the 5. Wayne Willard ran well all last week. He's trying to improve on his point standing. He's going to start 6th. Charles Silver, he's been running consistently fast all season long. He's going to start 7th. Nick Geilis, 8th. Rob Burns, 9th. Luis Salmazo, we talked to him earlier. He's going to start outside row 5 in the 10th position.
That's your top 10 tonight as Anthony Titchener chose that inside lane. Gets ready to bring him on down. Stories to watch tonight, that 5 making his first Cup start. Anthony Titchener looking to continue domination here in Auto Club as we are green and he's on the gas.
Green flag out, John, and Anthony Titchener wasting no time. He wants to get out front and he wants to do it quick. Side by side for second, Stephen Massey and Nick Groth going down into turn 1. Anthony Titchener clear sailing as he goes off into turn 1. Nick Groth loose, up to the wall.
And you mentioned him running those bad fast qualifying laps and then not being able to keep the car under control early on. A good save there. Could be the save of the night already for that number 19 car as the 5 works inside of him there for the 4th position.
Yeah, John, it's so frustrating when you're able to go out there and run those fast laps, not be consistently fast. And I think that's going to be a problem for him tonight. As you see him shoves it to the outside of Wayne Willard for the 0-1. That's for 4th place.
In most tracks, we see 3 wide here, and it is extremely exciting. Auto Club. Oh, we got a wreck. Luis Salzamo, Aaron Vincent tangled up.
Not sure if that's going to be a caution.
And Luis not going to be able to keep that car down. Caution is out as he slides back up on the track. Him and Aaron Vincent, not sure what happened there. Go back and get you guys a quick look here. So caution out on the racetrack. Looks like Luis Salmazo came down, maybe didn't know he was there. Just turned down across the nose. Aaron Vincent okay. Luis looks a little damaged, but all in all, fairly, compared to last week at Phoenix, a fairly non-violent wreck there. And these guys going to get away with it, but we talked to Luis in pre-race. He wanted a good, clean race and a finish, and just a misjudge there early on.
That's really unfortunate, John. He's been consistently fast all year long, both of them. And Aaron Vincent, ironically, John, we got to give a thanks to both of those guys for their generous donations to MOTV, but really unfortunate to see both those guys in an accident early on.
Yeah, I guess this is as good a time as ever. It's not quite the way I wanted to do it, but a quick shout out to Aaron Vincent and Luis Salmazo for their generous donations here at MOTV. We don't obviously do this for any funds or any money, but we do appreciate it, and thank you all for the support coming out to view these things, and we really do enjoy doing it. We'll take this first caution here just as a thank you and welcome you back for our 4th race, what is essentially the 5th week here as we're doing Vegas in our first off week. But we're having a blast, and huge thanks to those two. Sad they got tangled up here, but they look to be okay.
Yeah, John, I don't think it's going to really hurt them that much. Aaron might actually be hurt more than Luis because of the right front damage, which always plays a factor. But I don't think he looks too damaged right now. The 49, Aaron Vincent, his Lowe's Chevrolet, and Luis Salmazo in the Red Bull Chevrolet doesn't look too damaged either. So hopefully those guys, I doubt you're going to see a lot of guys come down pit road, maybe with the exception of Nick Groth, but he's not even going to come down. Maybe see some guys in the back of the pack.
Cut to that pit lane 2 cam really quick, and there was nothing going on. A ghost town down there on pit road. I don't think, did anybody stop at all?
George Price, I believe, is the first guy on pit road.
Like maybe the back
Chris
5
McCoy,
cars coming in there.
Corey Chaffin, Luis Salmazo, and I believe that's a 10 of Matthew Hibbs.
Yep, so it is effectively your back 5 cars coming down pit road there. So they got nothing to lose.
I'm
They're not going to gain any spots.
Aaron Vincent did, John. His front end looks kind of damaged.
True, it does look a little bit beat up, but remember iRacing is virtual, and maybe could just be on our end. Very rare that it would be on both, though. He took a pretty good shot from Luis. I mean, Luis didn't chop him by any means or turn hard left. He just kind of rolled into the corner and they touched, so I don't think he's going to tear the right front off the car, but certainly enough damage you would think on lap 3 to go ahead and bring it down. You got not a whole lot to lose. You're towards the back. Get it fixed up and get the car back out there healthy. So interesting to watch Aaron Vincent if that hurts him. I mean, I know I got the right front tore up here last night. It's like a parachute, so you want to pit and get damage fixed when you can. Interesting call to stay out by both those drivers.
Absolutely, John, and obviously you can see those guys. I believe everybody from 18th on back came down on pit road there, 18th through 22nd. I'm not sure why, but Jeff Hamilton, Joshua Wallace, Sean Lodison, Douglas Hess, Ron Miller all did not grid. I'm not sure for what reasons exactly, but a couple of those guys, Jeff Hamilton's been running very well. I'm not sure why he hasn't gridded as well as Ron Miller.
Certainly interesting. Those guys obviously running
here
the
comes
series
Aaron
full
Vincent
time.
to pit road now.
So Aaron Vincent is going to bring it down. Good call by him, I think, early on here. No sense to take the risk and hurt yourself. Tough break for those drivers, though. They weren't the quickest cars on the racetrack, but certainly guys that could contend for a solid finish and a good top 10 tonight. Hopefully it doesn't hurt them too bad. As we said, probably just a misjudge there by Luis. It's easy to do. This is a big track. Sometimes you got a lot going on around you. You don't quite realize where guys are at. It happens to the best of them. So tough break there, but I think they'll both recover. It didn't look too bad.
I think they'll both be all right, John. I think Aaron Vincent, if he can get his damage fixed, he'll be all right. These guys got 2 to go, so he has some time to fix before the green flag drops in the lap and a half or so. So he'll be all right. I think that Aaron Vincent in the 49 probably gonna be able to get most of his damage fixed, as he doesn't even wait for the damage to get fixed. It has to be just a visual, John.
Yeah, sometimes it won't update. I know iRacing's done the best they can. It's obviously hard to keep all cars on track looking exactly how they are, but sometimes iRacing won't update the damage. So to make a note going forward, Aaron Vincent did, at least to the best of our understanding, get his damage fixed. It might be showing on the front of the number 49 Lowe's SS, but for the most part, should be okay. Luis Salmazo, I don't think, got really any significant damage there. He might have gotten a little bit in the left rear. He didn't hit anything when he spun. So going forward, it'll be fun to watch and see what happens there, but they should be all right.
Absolutely, John, and I don't know if you want to talk about it now, but we did mention Kevin Cook as the new points leader. I don't know if you really want to explain what happened there, John, but you understand more than I do, I guess, the best understanding.
Yeah, we'll touch on it more as the night goes on as well, but a quick update for any of you Thomas Lattimore fans out there. Interesting turn of events as Anthony picks the outside lane here for this restart. Last week's race at Phoenix, we noted a bump and run between Thomas Lattimore and AJ Scarborough. You notice AJ Scarborough not on track this week, and you won't be seeing Thomas Lattimore for any weeks to come. Actually, Anthony had to make his first tough call of the season, I guess, and actually Thomas Lattimore was removed from the league. So no more Thomas Lattimore. They had a spat after the race. I know I sat in on part of it, and Colin, I believe, sat in on part of it as well. Just a tough war of words that didn't go down quite to league standards by any stretch of the imagination. So AJ Scarborough placed on suspension this week. I believe he'll be back next week from Martinsville. And yes, Thomas Lattimore is gone. So your new points leader, Kevin Cook, we mentioned Thomas Lattimore last week. We've interviewed him every week. Tough break for him, but there are rules, and he broke quite a few of them. So Anthony Titchener, I think, made the right call. It's always tough when you have to cut a guy, especially your points leader, but going forward, I think it's the best move for the league. So no more Thomas Lattimore. In ECR, you might see him around in some pubs and stuff, but he is done in ECR, and that week's Kevin Cook, this week's in-race reporter, your new points leader. And as we get ready to restart here, as mentioned, early season drama by no means carries the Auto Club. Now, coming in next week to Martinsville, we very well might see some payback dished out, but this week we should be okay. Your top 3 here on the restart: Anthony Titcher, Stephen Massey, Wayne Willard, Mark Figueroa, and Matthew Thunhorse hanging tough, rounding out your top 5. So Anthony takes the outside lane to get things going back green here. Stephen Massey is going to be his inside, and we hope for a better restart.
And John, I think he did that strategically because he has his 2 drivers starting right behind him on that outside line. He'll be able to give them a heads up when he's going. One of the goals here on iRacing, or helping out here on iRacing, one of the features is he gets a good restart here with John, 94 laps to go.
Still early on, and as you said, the communication there, Wayne Willard got one heck of a jump off the bumper of his teammate. iRacing, one of the advantages, as you said, the communication between drivers that they used to have in NASCAR but do not anymore. It has to be spotter to spotter. So communication being used there, and that gets Wayne Willard up to 2nd place, Stephen Massey back to 3rd, and Nick Groff back into the top 5.
What a great restart by Anthony Titcher, John, and early on, he does look like to seem to be the class of the field. I'm not sure. Obviously, we haven't had that long of a green flag stretch, but if he can stay consistently fast as he has been, is there all over the place off turn 4 with Stephen Massey and Mark Figueroa, I believe. Excuse me, Nick Groff side by side, and if you take a look at that, John, that is a lot of cars in one spot.
They are 2 by 2 by 2 by 2 all around this racetrack. Racing going on all over the place. Auto Club, my personal favorite track, and not only the iRacing schedule, but the NASCAR schedule in general. Love the racing here.
Yep.
See 3 and 4 wide all night long. Certainly, I hate to pray for caution, but I hope we get that late race restart because it's always fun to watch here at Auto Club.
Absolutely. You see a nice battle here between the 5 and the 97, John. Teammates in the Xfinity Series, and obviously tonight Matthew Thunhorse making his ECR Cup Series debut, not driving for Stephen Massey. As those guys make a nice battle, as Charles Silver looks to capitalize, and he wants to move inside the top 7 to the inside of Stephen Massey. That is for 5th.
And the toughest part here is there's almost no way to make a pass at Auto Club without losing time. It's not a track where you can just drive in under somebody, slide up in front of them, and drive off. You really have to work a pass here. And so when you can get these passes early on in the restarts and you can capitalize, as Mark Figueroa did there, on someone else's pass, and you can actually, you know, get freight trained if you're the guy getting passed, it's nice to be able to make those moves, because as you work later in the race, I mean, you have to give up a few tenths to make a pass here. There's just no way around it.
Massey in the 97 is struggling on that outside line, John. So you see him force it down to the bottom, right in front of Kevin Cook in the 45. He was really struggling on the outside lane. Wasn't able to get the run off that you usually see on the outside.
You know, and one thing, too, I want to touch on here is we got Bristol coming up in a few weeks. This track mentally, I think, at least to me, plays a lot like Bristol. It's obviously fast, and it's big, and it's not quite as tight and compact as Bristol is, but mentally, you just never get a chance as the 37 bounces off the wall a little bit. You never get your chance to get your composure here. There's just cars always around you here. There's never a time to regroup and resettle, and you see that with Massey right now. Is he got, you know, bunched up, and he had to use 3 wide, and he slipped off the corner, and there's just no time to catch it. You've got car after car after car. And he's struggling right now, losing another spot there to Kevin Cook.
Absolutely, John. And, you know, you and I mentioned it last night in our team channel that as soon as I got that lead, I said, because, you know, you never are able to lift off your, you're never able to take a deep breath and just relax at this place, John. It's very similar to the tracks coming up. Martinsville, obviously Texas, not so much, but Bristol, as you mentioned, these tracks are just, I can't think of the word. You're never just done doing anything.
And caution on the racetrack. Speaking of never catching your breath, not exactly sure where this one's at. Looking towards the back, I don't see anybody.
I see George Price in the 48 with some major damage, and Luis Salmazo involved as well. And the 10 of Matthew Hibbs.
Go back here and get you a replay. The 72 and the 10 here side by side. I believe that's going to be out of turn number 2. Oh, the 10 just breaks loose. No.
Yeah.
Nothing Luis could do. Nothing George could do. The 10 just...
Oh, major damage to both of those cars, John.
Luis, not the night. We talked to him pre-race. He just wanted a clean race. And that's sometimes how these things go. He's been caught up in 2 wrecks. One of his
seemed to be the bad luck, John.
Just nothing, nowhere he could go there. I mean, that happens here at Auto Club. You get loose, you snap, overcorrect, and the car below you pays the price. George Price also caught heavy damage on the front of that car. Nowhere he could go, just right in front of him. So the
and
ECR
John, I
booth
think now you'll see
luck.
some. I think now you'll be able to see some guys pit, because this is a field strategy race. Because you have to struggle to reach it to 50 laps. This will, if we make a pit here, it'll make it a 1 stop from here on out. So don't be surprised to see some guys pit, as it looks like everybody.
Anthony Fisher makes the late turn duck in there. Could move by your.
Oh, we got one car staying up. Kevin Cook in the 45. It looks like. Maybe
back
trying
in
to
that
lead
pack. We mentioned how hard it is to pass here. Maybe going for the bonus point. I would have to think.
Aaron Vincent as well in the 49.
Now Aaron Vincent's interesting to me. He might be looking for track position. No other benefit. He's not going to lead the lap, so he's no other benefit to stay out there.
You see these guys coming down pit road, John, and the 72 of Luis Salmazo, major damage, smoke barreling out of that car. Very unfortunate for him, but we do get to use our new pit feature, John. A lot of fun here. You know, George Price was a lot of help with it. As you see, 2 tires, by Wayne Willard, I believe that is in the 0-1.
Wayne Willard is going to be your first off pit road. You see the new pit road camera Colin was mentioning. Anthony Titchener second, Nick Groth, and then the 65 and the 5 side by side as the rest roll off.
Wow, look at that battle off pit road. That's a swarm of cars.
A nice new shot here, though, and again, thank you to George Price. He's been a huge help. We mention him almost every week with the overlays and the stream and everything like that. He's just been an awesome help. He doesn't ask for anything in return, but you know, obviously, it seems like everyone we thank here is getting caught up in wrecks. Aaron Vincent, Luis Salmazo, now George Price caught in the last one. But a huge thank you to him.
All right, so we make sure we just don't thank anybody else.
Yeah, no more thank you.
Colson, so that's not good.
All right, Nick, don't race. Just give it up. Sorry for your Young Guns team, but tough break, man. We got a ECR booth's been a curse. We interview Luis. He goes out there and gets tore up. Carson, I guess the other guy we interviewed, Kevin Cook's in the lead, so maybe not exactly the worst thing in the world. Looks like he might be ducking to pit road. He is going to duck to pit road.
And Anthony's been running well. Yeah, that's a very smart move by him, John, to be able to get out there and lead a lap.
With that nose damage from an earlier wreck, going to stay out. He is your new leader. Might be. I mean, he also might cycle through pit road. Who knows? But Aaron Vincent going to be your new leader at the stripe. Bonus point to him. Bonus point to 45 of Kevin Cook. and Anthony
87
Ditchner.
of Anthony Ditchner.
So those have been your leaders tonight. Not a whole lot of lead changes, except under caution here, but Anthony Ditchner is going to restart, at least for the time being. Looks like third, might be second, depending on what Aaron does here, but
yeah,
good racing up front. Anthony, as you said, has been the class of the field so far, but not by much. He hasn't pulled away by a whole lot. That might be some tire conservation. It's hard to pull away here. The draft, you don't feel it, but the draft's a huge help here, so it's hard to really stretch a lead unless you just have that fast of a race car. And he's got his teammates up there with him, so they're running, I imagine, close to the same set, so pulling away might be a little difficult.
And John, it's very good to see Wayne Willard running up there. You know, we mentioned last week him being struggling early on in the season. He gained 9 spots in the points standings last week, up to the 15th spot. Not that far behind. It's only 29 points out of the new points leader, Kevin Cook. So Wayne Willard trying to carry that momentum that he had last week at Phoenix, trying to get another top 5, at least a top 10, maybe even another top 5 for his number 01 machine.
You know, we touched on earlier Thomas Lattimore not being here anymore, being what was the current points leader. He's gone, so that pulls, I don't know exactly what his points lead was, but it pulls a lot of these guys. Was it 15 points? So that's 15 points closer everybody in the league got to the points lead. So all of a sudden you just made up an average of 5 spots a race over the first 3 races. So, I mean, essentially that moves a lot more guys into this thing, as it looks like Aaron Vincent's going to stay out and be your new leader here on this restart. That'll be fun to watch. He's on the old tires. He did pit, though, remember. When he was in that first caution, he might be playing a fuel strategy race here.
John, don't let that surprise you. I do think we are going to get a long green flag run here once these drivers get settled down. Don't be surprised to see a long green flag run right here. And Aaron Vincent, obviously now trying to stretch it on to make it a one-stop race from here. All the other drivers who did just pit should be able to make it on one stop from here.
Luis Salmazo going to pull that car off pit road and continue in tonight's event. I'm not sure how many laps down he is exactly, or if any, but a hard wreck for him, and a good job by that team getting the car fixed up. He's back out on track. Going to salvage some kind of points here. I don't think we're done with cautions by any means. Auto Club, a track that usually cautions breed cautions, so good move by him getting the car back out there. Certainly still some spots to make up, even if he doesn't pass anybody, just by surviving.
Absolutely, John. And let's get a rundown here of our drivers. Aaron Vincent stayed out. You mentioned him on the old tires and a little bit of front end damage. Wayne Willard took 2 tires on that last pit stop, and Anthony Ditchner's going to restart third. He's the first guy with 4 fresh Goodyear tires on his machine. Nick Groth fourth. Matthew Thunhorst still holding on to the top 5 position in his ECR Cup Series debut. Justin Bland 6th. Mark Figueroa 7th. Charles Silver 8th. Chuck Carroll 9th. And Steven Massey, who struggled on the outside. He's going to restart on the outside of row 5.
And what do you say we take a little onboard ride here with the number 5 car making his first Cup start? We'll hop in on his roll bar behind his teammate Anthony Ditchner for this restart. Aaron Vincent, as you said, going to be first, chose the inside line. Pace car will be making that hard left turn, and we'll give you a little onboard shot from that new ECR Cup. And they are gone.
A little bit. How about Haters Make Us Famous Racing right now, John? 1, 2, 3, 4 as they cross the start-finish line.
What a run by those guys. We mentioned top of the show, they really did have the car to beat, or the setup to beat tonight. I mean, they were fast in practice. You see Matthew running third, or side by side, I do believe. New to the Cup Series, completely new to the Cup Series. So they've got something. Justin Bland with a little wiggle off the corner. He's going to duck it low. Good save by him as they fall in line here down the backstretch.
Absolutely, John. And Aaron Vincent, I don't think he's going to be able to hold on too much longer here. Anthony Ditchner wants that lead, and he wants it now. And look at the run these guys got. Not sure they can get the lead this time.
You know, and what this is doing in a secondary thing here for Anthony is he's not being able to gap these guys. They're hanging right with him. Aaron Vincent slowing him up 3 wide almost down to the turn number 1. Anthony, a power move on the outside, going to make it stick.
Aaron on that bottom is going to be able to go. Nick Groth loose. Nick Groth's really loose off turn 2. He's going to be able to hold it bottom to the bottom. Matthew Thunhorst to the inside. Aaron Vincent, that's for second.
What a save by Nick. He got down on the apron, which they run in the Cup Series. Not much you can do here on iRacing. There's not a lot of grip down there. Got down there, and what a save to that race car. He's having a struggle early on here is the 19. He's obviously ran fast in qualifying, but again, struggling to find that race pace and settle in here.
Absolutely, John. I think that's just a factor. Maybe the emotions, the adrenaline inside of you wanting you to, you just want to go, and you're not able to in the race pace. It's different than a qualifying.
And Auto Club, at least to me, more than any other track, you just want to go fast around here. It's such a momentum racetrack, and it's so slippery. And Aaron Vincent hard in the wall.
Nick Gross behind
Nick Gross, tough night continues by no fault of his own there, almost into the back of him. Another good move is Chuck Harrell looking to take advantage, 3 wide down in the 3.
Great move by Chuck Harrell right there, so you can hold it down. Aaron Vincent's getting a little run on the outside. Not sure he's going to be able to do much with it. Justin Bland, who got loose on the restart, he wants the inside of Aaron Vincent.
See, Aaron Vincent's got that mental thing going on here. We talked about earlier where you just can't get out of the way. Just car after car after car, you just feel like you're not going fast enough, and that makes you drive harder and puts him in a bad spot. He caught the wall. That doesn't help, and seems to have settled down a little bit for him, but scary there for Aaron Vincent off that restart.
And John, generally that Lowe's Chevrolet seems to be doing very well here at Auto Club, but Aaron Vincent really struggling here early on.
Yeah, he played some interesting pit strategy. We mentioned he was caught in the wreck early. He stayed out there on old tires, and tires don't wear a considerable amount in the first few laps, but it's still enough, I think, to where stickers help. And not to mention he got put in a bad spot when he got passed for the lead on the outside, which is not where you want to be on old tires to begin with. And then he got freight trained, essentially, just car after car, not letting him get back in line. So he seems to have settled in a little bit now. He's still getting passed. I think he's going to have a hard time holding track position, but it's early. You got to play the gamble. I think he's doing okay.
And John, that is one heck of a hornet's nest back there as Charles Silver gets loose. It's going to even bundle it up more. From 9th on back to just about 17th, that is one type of hornet's nest.
And the 12 making a 3-wide move. That is so hard to get that race car to stick. Guy on the outside usually pays the price, and it looks
Charles
like
Silver
he will
the
here.
Outside almost into the wall. Good job at checking up, avoiding that for him. Joy Lamb's going to want to take advantage, as well as Sean Medling in the 1025 bone car.
Gotta love that bone scheme, whatever the number is you just said.
1025.
There you go. I call it every week.
Oh, Charles Silver.
A little bit of contact maybe between the 7 and the 37 there.
Well, John, I think Charles Silver is getting a case of the Dale Jr.'s behind Greg Biffle right now. Aaron Vincent obviously off the pace just enough to slow Charles Silver down, and he seems very, I guess, inconvenient for Charles Silver in the 7 car, not able to get by the 49.
And here at Auto Club, another thing that we're going to talk about throughout the night is you just can't turn the car on a dime here like you can other tracks. The car just doesn't go up or down the track when you want it to. So when you get behind a guy like that, yeah, it's the bumps. You can't really turn a car because the car's never settled here in the corner. So when you're behind a guy and you can't steer past him in the corner, it's frustrating and difficult. And looks like Charles Silver's getting a case, as you said, of the Dale Juniors there. Just nowhere to go.
Absolutely, John. While this is all happening in the back, Anthony Fitchner has set sail on his number 87 Jim Beam machine over a second lead right now on Matthew Thunhorse, who's doing one hell of a job in his number 5 Chevrolet. Perhaps giving some of those owners out there who have an open slot, maybe trying to build his credibility up as free agent right now. As he's second right now in the standings and not doing too bad. Obviously doing a great job. Only losing about a 10th a lap to Anthony Fitchner, who's doing one hell of a job out there pulling away.
Which, as we know, losing a 10th a lap to anybody that leads in this Cup Series is certainly nothing to be ashamed of. These guys, you know, top-tier talents to get out there and lead. Aaron Berge won that done it. Anthony Fitchner's doing it. These guys know what they're doing, so if you can hang with them, you're doing something very right. Matthew Thunhorse making a strong case to be picked up here, if he wants to run in the Cup Series permanent. Looking
Absolutely.
back through the
Anthony
pack.
Fitchner had to lift out there. Corey Chaffin in the 33. He goes a lap down. Anthony Fitchner had to lift out. That's going to impede his progress off turn 4. Probably lost a little bit of time there, Matthew Thunhorse. Not quite, ran about even laps that time, probably because of the lap car on the outside.
It's tough to pass lap traffic here. You would think such a big track it wouldn't be that difficult, but if you catch them at the wrong times, you know, on corner entry, corner exit, it can really mess up your line. This is a big marks track with the bumps, and you really have to hit every lap consistent. And a tough break if you catch a lap car. As Anthony there at a bad time. Again, it plays a little bit like a big Bristol. I mean, it's so tough to keep your composure here and to run well. So Anthony doing a good job working past him. The field will have to do it next and see if they can keep pace.
Absolutely, John. We got a nice battle. Looks like brewing up here for second place as Wayne Willard. Looks like he may want to get around. Actually, I believe it's a lap car. I'm sorry about that. Good battle for third place here with Wayne Willard, Nick Groth, and Mark Figueroa. Those classic motorsports car looking to gang up on the rear end of the Harris Makers famous 1-2-3 tandem.
Certainly looking to get in there and break that up. You would think they're going to have to. I mean, these guys are going to drive away with it. They've got the setup. they've got everything under them, and they've certainly got the drivers. So they've got to get up there, mess with them a little bit, and maybe get some cautions here, get themselves back up to Anthony's bumper, see what they can do. But right now, Nick Groff making a strong charge. It's a track where you kind of settle into your car after a few laps. I think he's done that now, I say, as he pushes up towards the wall a little bit. But good run by him. He's recovered and looking for that third position.
And John, I don't think these guys back here from 7th on back to about 13th, I don't think these guys have been in one spot for more than 2 laps at a time, because these guys are all over the place right now. So Joey Lamb, Rob Burns, Sean Medling, Kevin Cook, Aaron Vincent, Charles Silver, and Justin Bland all doing a great job racing here from about 7th on back to 13th.
You know, when I talked earlier in the race about how it's hard to make a pass without losing time, and coming with that, it's hard to make a pass without being passed back. It's really hard to get a pass here to stick and to make that guy stay behind you. So these guys passing each other and then losing spots, and then passing each other and losing spots. They've kind of flip-flopped back and forth quite a bit back here between 7th and 13th.
Sean Medling pushing up towards the wall, into the outside wall.
That's a hard lick for the 37. Not what you want to see. Looked like he caught it kind of flat there, but still going to be a tough break for that 37 car.
Absolutely, John. You see a 12 making a pass on the 81, but 37 losing a lot of time there. He's not even able to get down to the white line there. That's going to make him lose a lot of progress off turn 2. Tough breaks there for the 37 as Charles Silver pushes up to the wall. 81 gets loose from in front of the 45. Those guys are teammates racing for 8th and 9th.
And you just can't get out of the way here, Colin. There's nothing you can do. There's just cars all the time in your mirror, in your windshield, everywhere you look. So these guys trying to hold it. You see the 37 now back past the 7 after he snapped loose. So
bouncing position. Wayne Willard off turn 4. Wow, great job by everybody getting through that. Wow.
As they split him, parked right in the middle of the track. Your 3rd place driver, Wayne Willard. Go back and take a look here at just what happened to that race car.
What an amazing job by everybody getting through that.
Going to hop on board here with Wayne Willard. You see him down in turn number 3. Things going okay. Maybe just a case of getting loose here. Ooh, hard contact with the wall, and it snapped him. Caught that wall, bounced off it, overcorrected a little bit. Good job minimizing the damage. You said everyone missed him, but looking inside the race car, heavy right front damage on that 01. Tough break there.
If you can go look at the number 12's roll bar, John, that number 12 at Rob Burns did one hell of a job of getting through that.
Right on board here with the 12 of Rob Burns. All you see is smoke, and then there's a car in your windshield. So great job by him of rolling off the gas. We always talk about you have to lift when you see smoke. A great job lifting. You heard it in the throttle, getting off the gas, slowing down, and giving himself the ability to turn the race car and then not catching Kevin Cook. So great drive by the 12, and everybody really missing. That's a car in the middle of the racetrack. Yeah. One of the fastest parts of the track.
And Wayne Willard gets very lucky, John, as he won't have much problems as pit stops here begin, but he did very lucky and did a very good job of minimizing the damage. When you come back across the track like that, it's a very scary feeling.
And a good job by him as well that when he did snap the car back, he didn't put it in the wall. He did a good job of being aware of where he was at on the track. He hit the brakes at the right time. Great job by Wayne of saving the race car. Obviously a skill, I think, very undervalued in any form of racing, not only stock car, but anything with an engine that turns. A great job by Wayne of minimizing damage, and he'll get the race car back out there.
Anthony Titcher wins the race off pit road. Nick Gross 2nd, Mark Figueroa 3rd, Matthew Thunhorse 4th, Chuck Harrell 5th.
Another good race off pit road. Anthony will maintain, no surprise there. As you see these cars rolling off, not a whole lot back in the pack here. Now we got damage being fixed. So a good race off pit road. And again, I love this pit road camera. I hope you guys do at home. It's a fun shot watching these guys come off pit road. Very interesting paint schemes in comparison to real life. So a very bright flash off pit road, and it's fun to watch.
It really is, John. And there's a good battle there, I believe, between the 37 and the 61 as they came off pit road, as well as the 65 and the 97. So definitely a cool feature. Once again, thank you, George Price and his number 48 machine. Newly owned George Price Racing, John. He took over Leadfoot Motorsports for, obviously, the removed Thomas Lattimore, and he turned his team to Chevys. He kept the same drivers, but that 48 car, George Price, now has George Price Racing. Finally getting noticed for some of his hard work here that he puts in for ECR.
And a big congrats to him with the step forward there here in ECR. Obviously, as Colin mentioned, the guy that's helped us a ton, and we're glad to see him moving forward with that team. We're, obviously sad to see the circumstances with Thomas Lattimore, but sometimes things happen. And again, I think a good job by the whole league responding appropriately and quickly and getting that situation handled. We will see, I believe, AJ back next week at Martinsville. Unfortunately for the drama side of things, there will be no Thomas to pay back, but Certainly going to be a fun comeback. I think a great track to come back to in Martinsville to kind of work through and get yourself back in the swing of things.
John, let's see if we can get a word here with our in-race reporter, Kevin Cook. Hey, Kevin Cook, this is Colin for up in the ECR broadcast booth, but you got a copy?
Got you, buddy.
Hey, man, you don't seem to be making a whole lot of flashy moves. You're settling in at just about 7th place right now, doing a pretty good job in your Star Wars Chevrolet. What are you seeing out there that's going to be able to help you throughout the rest of the race?
I'll just loosen the car up just a little bit for the long run, and I think it'll be better. I seem to be getting through traffic pretty well. I mean, I'm not flashing through them, but I'm just trying to keep the car safe.
Absolutely, man. You've been around the same guys all night. Rob Burns in the 12, Aaron Vincent, Joey Lamb. You've been running around those guys. Are you seeing anything that you're able to capitalize on with those certain drivers?
It seems to be I'm beating a lot of guys middle off, and I seem to get a really good run down the straightaway, and I've noticed that passing on the straightaway was pretty much my forte for here, so that's pretty much what I'm going to go with.
Absolutely, man. As you see you guys double filing up right now, you're going to be restarting inside of the 4th row, man. Starting P7 tonight with, I believe you're going to have 68 laps to go on the restart, so good luck the rest of the night, and maybe we'll talk to you later on.
All right, thank you.
That was tonight's in-race reporter, the number 45 of Kevin Cook. So we get things back here, getting ready to go green. Anthony Thitchner still your leader. Coming in P2 right now, Nick Groff. Mark Figueroa up to 3rd with the Wayne Willard spin there. Chuck Harrell in 4th. And Rob Burns going to be rounding out your top 5.
And John, I'm a little curious now. Went all the way back. He's coming off pit road right now. A little curious as to what happened with him. I don't know if he got caught speeding or not really sure what happened there, but he's all the way to the back of the pack. Tough break for his Cup debut.
So Matthew Thunhorst, tough break, as Colin mentioned. We'll watch him trying to cut his way back through this pack now. An interesting point Kevin brought up, trying to pass traffic safely. These restarts are dangerous for more reasons than one. Obviously, you got all these cars bunched up, but these cars also on cold tires. They tend to wiggle just a little bit more than normal. So coming from the back to the front can be tricky. You can pass a lot of cars, but you can also lose a lot of spots in a big hurry.
Absolutely, John. You know, we mentioned it earlier in the broadcast, and he just mentioned it there, that he's been able to get a lot of room on the runoff. And we mentioned that you're going to have to pass on the straightaways to be able to, I think, really succeed here. And that's what really helped me out last night. So we're going to see if these more guys can capitalize on that. But we're going to have the restart go. As Kevin Cook, we mentioned 7th, he's going to restart 6th, probably with the problem of Matthew Thunhorst.
The pace car takes that hard left turn to pit road, and Anthony Thitchner wasting no time on that gas. And Wayne Willard, his teammate, or excuse me, not Wayne Willard now, Nick Groff looking to fall in a second.
Yeah, John, after that spin, Wayne Willard fell back to, I believe, the 18th position, and Matthew Thunhorst in the 19th position. Aaron Vincent coming up a little bit on Kevin Cook there. Those guys got that settled out. And now Classic Motorsports can try to set their sights on Anthony Thitchner, the leader. Classic Motorsports running 2nd and 3rd, so Anthony Thitchner kind of in the worst spot possible.
And now Mark Figueroa wasting no time looking past his teammate Nick Groff in the 19. Is he back in the pack? Chuck Harrell made a strong move on the outside to take that spot away from the 12 for Rob Burns on the restart. Chuck Harrell's got some in that race car. Now he's going to have to fight for it, but a good move early on.
Yes, John, and that was a power move right there you saw by the 88. You don't really see that out of a lot of drivers, but right there in that instance, Chuck Harrell really with a nice power move off turn.
And now he's not able to hold it, though. Now here he comes back. A little bit of side draft in the corner. He's making that outside lane work, and Kevin Cook wants a piece of it. He's going to back out, think wiser of that move. Fall back in behind the 88.
Some great racing right there, John. That's for 4th place. Chuck Harrell, Rob Burns, Kevin Cook, and Joey Lamb all doing a great job. 4 Chevrolets battling for that 4th through 7th positions.
We mentioned you can run 3 wide here, but it's not exactly something you want to do. Just like any other track, I mean, you can run 3 wide at almost any track on the circuit, maybe minus Martinsville, but it's not something you want to do, and certainly not early on in the race. Joey Lamb looking for the crossover. He'll back out of it, but Chuck Harrell prevailing, going to pass all those race cars and move his way up into the 4th position.
Joey Lamb hits the apron a little bit. We know that's not what you want to do.
Look, a mean pack of cars coming at you off turn 2.
Honestly, I was just going to say, look at that Hornet's nest back there, John.
all over each other. These guys not cut any slack. They know they got to go on the restarts. Once this thing gets strung out, it gets much harder to pass. Trying to get everything they can get. You see it every time we come here to Auto Club. These guys, they want to go on those restarts. Oh, hard contact.
The outside wall again.
Not having a good night with that 1025, the bone car. Hard in the outside wall for, I believe, the second or third time. Now he's got the right rear pushed in. Going to be a long night for him. He just, something with that setup, maybe a little tight on exit, not able to wheel it quite like he'd want to.
Absolutely, John. And you see guys that were running up front early on. Stephen Massey, Wayne Willard, and Matthew Thunhorst all running outside the top 10 right now. So these guys really have to work hard to get back into the spots that they were able to run early on in the race.
You know, when Matthew Thunhorst subbing for AJ, we mentioned in the 5 tonight, that 5 car last week had the same trouble. It ran up front, it was really fast, it had some tough brakes, went to the back, and never really able to recover. Actually ended up with a DNF, I believe, last week. So something with that 5 car recently, maybe it's just one of those bad luck superstition curses, but again, ran up front and out of the back of the pack, and he's going to have to make his way back through. Certainly a tough debut for the ECR Cup Series rookie.
Absolutely, John, but his teammate and team owner, Anthony Fitchner, is not having any bad luck whatsoever. 1 second lead right now over Nick Groth and Mark Figueroa, 87, and Anthony Fitchner in his Jim Beam Chevrolet. Easily the class of the field tonight. It's going to be tough to see if these guys really are able to make, you know, the different changes in the setup and track position to be able to pass that 87 and hold him back in the pack.
He's been tough to catch as of late. We mentioned, I believe he won last week. Or no, did he win last week?
Who's that?
Anthony
Fisher, yes, he did. He swept the week last week at Phoenix.
That's right, that's why. Okay, he swept a week last week, so certainly tough to catch. Excuse me, I apologize. A bit confused there. We've had so many different winners. I mean, we've got, what, Aaron Berge, was Thomas Lattimore, and Anthony Fitchner. So
yep.
3 winners in 4 weeks. Looking to move forward, though, with the repeat winner here tonight, Anthony Fitchner, out front by 1.3 seconds over his rival, Nick Groth. And behind him, his teammate, Mark Figueroa. So early going here, Anthony Fitchner looks to be the car to beat. No surprise there.
And how about Kevin Cook, John? He said that he wanted to finish top 15 if he could, top 20 preferably, and he's running 4th right now in his number 45 Star Wars Chevrolet in a great battle with Chuck Harrell and Charles Silver, Rob Burns, and Joy Lamb as well. A great battle for 4th there, but Kevin Cook really capitalizing on his opportunity as the points leader.
Yeah, he's got a lot to race for now, obviously. You said bumped up into the points leader, obviously the target on your back now going forward. Everyone's going to want to dethrone you, for lack of a better term. So he's got to go out there and run well. He's running 4th, certainly nothing wrong with that. And if you come home 4th at Auto Club and all you want to do is finish, there's nothing wrong with that. Auto Club, a tough track a lot of times to survive and get through. So these guys doing a good job. It's a very different track, and as we talk about him, in the wall. The ECR curse, or the MOTV curse coming back on the ECR drivers and into the wall, the 45. Just kissed it a little bit. I think he'll be okay.
Tough break for him, John, but I'm curious to see if we get a long run here, if Anthony Fisher's setup falls off at all. Obviously, he's good on the short runs. He's been able to pull away, but we haven't really had a long run. We've had, 15, 20 laps, but I'm very curious to see if he's able to capitalize on a long run setup.
He's been a guy we've watched all season long. His long run setups have been good, which is a scary part because his short run setups are so good as well. So I think he might be okay, but as we mentioned, a very different track here tonight. Not one to be taken for granted. See the 5 working his way back through. Now the 5 and the 0-1 side by side. Those two currently the, I guess, the dunces of the last restart. Both guys went to the back of the pack and working their way back through. But Anthony Fitchner, he's very good at building setups. We know that, and it's something to watch for, as you mentioned, that long run setup, just how it'll work for him.
Absolutely, John, as he continues to pace the field. Nick Groth, he's been fast all week long. We mentioned him. Mark Figueroa running 3rd right now. Kevin Cook 4th. Chuck Harrell 5th. Charles Silver 6th. Rob Burns in the 12th. 7th. He's part of the newly found George Price Racing. Joey Lamb in 8th. Aaron Vincent 9th and Justin Bland rounding out the top 10 so far, but a great battle going on for 10th on back.
And looking back in the pack, coming his way towards the top 10 is that number 5 car, Matthew Thunhorst. He was running up in the 2nd and 3rd position pretty much all night long. Had something happen to him on that last restart. He's going to work inside the 61. That's for 11th. So he's on the march. Certainly didn't slow him down at all. And he's making his way back to the field.
Absolutely, John. And while this track takes aggressiveness and uneasiness, patience is a virtue at this place, John. And you really have to capitalize on patience if you want to be fast here. And I think he's doing a great job of that, as well as the 0-1 of Wayne Willard.
This really is a place where you can't just go up and pass somebody. You know, really no track is, minus maybe a short track, but this is a track where you really have to work your passes and you have to kind of figure out where you're, as you asked, I believe, Kevin Cook earlier, the strengths and weaknesses of the drivers are around you. It's not a track you can go out there and just be faster than somebody. So these guys being patient, we mentioned patience a virtue, and something Matthew Thunhorst appears to have. Can't be too patient, though. He does have to get this car back to the front. We are winding down almost to halfway. If he's going to want to have anything for his teammate Anthony Titchener, he's got to get this car back inside that top 10 and working his way towards the front.
Absolutely, John, and I'm starting to see these classic motorsports guys that their setups are really starting to fall off as fourth on back has really been able to begin to reel them in. Starting to fall into the clutches of Kevin Cook in his 45 and Chuck Carroll in the 88. It's a 0-0 Mark Figueroa and Nick Roth slowly but surely also falling back into the clutches of those guys.
And Anthony Titchener looking to make up again another Aaron Berkey type story. We mentioned it last week. We're going to mention it again this week. A 4-second lead over Nick Groth and stretching. Certainly no give up in that 87. Such a good setup builder on that team, and we see it Matthew coming through the field. We see it in all his teammates. Very good setups under those cars, and he's making the best of it here early on. Almost a 5-second lead here as we work our way towards halfway.
And John, I'm curious, should we start changing that to the Anthony Titchener in Anthony Titchener Day, or is it going to stay Aaron Berkey Day?
You know, we might have to. Aaron did it for a very long time, and we mentioned it closing the Xfinity Series last season and then coming into the Cup Series. But him not being here for whatever reason, I'm not exactly sure why, but again, absent this week, it's going to be the Anthony Titchener show. So we might have to change that phrase at least until he can come back and maybe claim his throne yet again. Might have to change that up, you're right.
But we got a nice battle going on here for third, John.
Oh, Chuck Harrell going to get way loose.
Wow, what a great grab by him as he's going to try to come up, not lose too many spots if he can. Obviously going to lose all the way, go back to 7th place behind Rob Burns, but a great grab by Chuck Harrell there as he's going to fall into the clutches of Joey Lamb.
Take a ride on board really quick so you can see the hand motion inside the race car. We mentioned patience of virtue on the throttle just a little early there, a little too much wheel input. What a great save there by that 88 of Chuck Harrell, keeping that car out of trouble out of the inside wall, and he'll recover nicely, only drops one spot.
He's going to cross Joey Lamb over right there in the 81. He hits the apron a little bit, got a little loose, wasn't able to carry the runoff turn 2. Joey Lamb able to hold on to the 7th position.
And the battle is on from 3rd through 5th, looking for that podium spot. Kevin Cook, Mark Figueroa, Charles Silver, all over one another, with Rob Burns closing in the 12, and then you got the 81 of Joey Lamb. So certainly no lack of battles up front. Auto Club famous for its battles, and we got a good one here.
How about Charles Silver, John? We haven't really talked about him a lot all night, but he's making a battle for Mark Figueroa with his teammate Luis Salmazo in the 72 having troubles early on. He's currently 11 laps down in the 21st position, but Charles Silver doing a nice job trying to work over Mark Figueroa. That's for the 4th position.
Yeah, we don't give a lot of calls to Charles Silver, and he's run very well. He just seems to always be there when something else is going on. But tonight, getting his airtime here, he's working inside in the 5th position, looking to the cross on Mark Figueroa in the 0-0. He's had some good runs this season. He's putting together another one here.
Yeah, John, he's only 8th in the points right now, only 16 points behind Kevin Cook for the points lead. Doing a great job here. Charles Silver looking to get his 2nd top 10 of the year and trying to get his 1st top 5 of the season. As he gets crossed over by Rob Burns in the 12. Charles Silver pleading no contest right there. I don't think he really wants to get into anything early on.
No, with the gap he's got out his mirror right now, kind of just going to roll over and give him the spot. I don't think, as we say that, he fights back on the outside. Not a place you really want to race unless you have to.
He's going to have to lift out of that. Yeah, he does.
So Charles Silver's going to fall back to that 6th position. Rob Burns up in here, top 5, and he's looking for more. Looking at another 0-0 here of Mark Figueroa down the back.
And while that's going on, John, Matthew Thunhorst in the 5 has got back inside the top 10, and he wants 9th, 8th, and 7th. And he's going to try to get them all right here as he passes his teammate Aaron Vincent, the 49, and he's going to start working over 81 of Joey Lamb. That's for 8th.
And now is kind of when that patience goes out the window. You're in the part of the run where you know what you got in your car, you know what those tires are doing, and now he's looking to get 2 and 3 a lap as he's going to work now back under the 81 of Joey Lamb, looking for the 88 of Chuck Harrell, puts Aaron Vincent in the mirror. And I got to give a call. Aaron Vincent, pit strategy didn't really work out too bad. He's maintained his top 10 early, that wreck early on, and he's recovered nicely. Not a bad call after all for that number 49 car.
Absolutely not, John. But I have to give a shout out to Anthony Titchener once again. As this is all going on, he has passed over a 6-second lead, almost a half a straightaway right now over the rest of the field as he's putting on a clinic right now in the 87. We like to use that term a lot here, but he is surely putting on a clinic here with he's going to have 52 to go that time.
Something you don't hear a lot of the Auto Club, that car is on a rail. It's usually a track with a very different line almost every lap, but he's run very consistently, kind of low to middle, and he's doing well. You see that nose cam, nothing out front, but just plain California asphalt. So he's running very well. 6-second lead here early on, certainly looking like the one to beat tonight for sure. And no
so
surprise,
many battles going on right now.
he put it on the pole. He was, I believe, second or third fastest in practice, only to his teammate AJ, who wasn't racing tonight. So certainly not a surprise. Anthony is very quick here. He's very quick just about everywhere. I'll be interested to see as we go through the season what his weaknesses are. But he's had some very, very good runs early on in the season.
And he really has, John. And I'm starting to be curious, is pit strategy going to play a factor? Because these guys lose, you know, 1.5 seconds to 2 seconds a lap at the end of the pit run. So I'm wondering if you remember back to Texas in the Xfinity Series at the end of last year, he lost the race because of Aaron Berge in pit strategy. He wasn't able to pit as soon as Aaron lost a lot of time, as Aaron was able to get out there and run faster laps for a quicker time. But Anthony Fincher coming across to take halfway this time by 50 laps to go. Gotta wonder if pit strategy is going to play a factor in tonight.
You know, you're right. He did, you know, I don't know if he necessarily lost the race directly on that call, but it certainly hurt his chances a lot to win that race. Aaron Berge pitted and Anthony Titchener, we both talked about it, stayed out way too long on those tires, gave up too much time, and in the end didn't really have a shot at it. So tonight, we're probably about 5-6 laps away from being easily in the window. So these guys got to be starting to look, you know, when they want to come to pit road, who they want to pit with, if they want to pit with anybody to get draft help. Not usually a factor here, but always something to think about. Anthony Titchener's got to be thinking, see the 00 all over the back of the 12. Got to be thinking, got to pit probably with the biggest group of cars. You can't stay out too long here. As you said, give up a lot of time.
And John, I don't want to be preaching to the choir here, but I did last night. Obviously, I did win the Xfinity Series. Oh, got Charles Silver hard on the outside wall as you see Chuck Carroll come down pit road as we talk about pit stops beginning. I did pit early, and that did help me out in the long run there we had. I was able to capitalize and gain a couple positions, but I don't want to speak my own personal thoughts, but Chuck Carroll, the first guy on pit road in the 88.
No, you're right. One, we talked about it, I know, a lot in our team channel last night. I was in that race with you as well. Didn't have quite the run you did, unfortunately, but we talked about it a lot. We contemplated back and forth what the pit strategy would be, and it turned out that pitting a little bit early, getting those fresh tires, and having the faster race car for a little bit was very important. It got you the W, and might get some of the W tonight going forward. So, as you mentioned, Chuck Carroll on pit road. We'll see if that brings anybody else.
Matthew Thunhorse looking underneath Kevin Cook, and that's for the 5th position, John. Matthew Thunhorse, after having the trouble, I'm not sure what the trouble was exactly, but Matthew Thunhorse up to the 5th position, doing a nice job recovering in that number 5 Chevrolet.
And we talked to Anthony pre-race. What are you going out of a sub? He said finish the race. He didn't mention anything about coming from the far back of the pack, the EOL, to 5th place over the course of a fuel run. So certainly high praise for that 5-car Matthew Thunhorse going forward. Now he's looking inside, not done. Once Mark Figueroa for 4th. What a run by that 5.
Absolutely, John, and doing a great job of Matthew Thunhorse. As he looks underneath the 00, he's going to capitalize underneath the 00. So we're going to have 3 wide battle. That's for 7th behind them, or 6th, excuse me. Kevin Cook, Charles Silver, and Aaron Vincent, 3 wide down the front stretch.
What a different variety of battles going on here. You've got some cars and caution on the racetrack.
Caution flag is out. Not sure where.
Justin Bland's going to park it in victory lane. Not the way you want to park it in victory lane, though. That car all tore up down there. We'll go back and take a look here.
George Price in the 48. Wow.
And George Price again, nowhere he can go. Justin Bland looks like maybe a little bit of net code or a bug or something. Snaps loose, comes up, slams the wall, and George Price, just another bystander to a wreck he couldn't do anything about. Take you on board here just to see exactly what happened.
And John, we mentioned pitting early to help out, and this is exactly not Chuck Carroll wanted to see.
Not at all, no. He's going to be trapped now, a lap down, if not, no, just a lap down, I do believe. But
I believe he's going to get the lucky dog, but still, that's going to be an end-of-the-line penalty.
So short pitting for you last night had its benefits. Tonight puts Chuck Carroll in a bad spot. And maybe, you know, it's not the wrong call by any means. You got to take your chances here, and he certainly did that. But it's going to put him as you said, probably lucky dog in the EOL, so he'll have to do a Matthew Thunhorst impersonation and work his way back to the field. I think he's got the car to do it, but does he have the time? We're coming down here, 45 laps to go when these guys pit, so not a lot of time. I believe they are easily in the window now, though, so this should be, if we go green, the last stop of the night.
Absolutely, John. I'm very curious to see if pit strategy is going to play a factor. I'm not sure what the field's going on right now, but Nick Groth and Anthony Finch are easily going to beat the rest of the field down pit road. Not really sure what's going on back there.
Yeah, I'm showing 9.3 seconds. Not exactly sure what happened there with the field.
I don't know if the lap car of Justin Bland played a factor or what.
I do believe he did. Justin Bland was that last caution all tore up. Maybe had to wait for him to get back by, and if that was the case, that's going to cost him a lot of time. But much to the advantage of the front two pit stalls here, Nick Roth and Anthony Titch are going to easily get 4 tires and come out first and second.
Absolutely, John. It's going to be able to see the pit crews playing a factor here. The virtual pit crews, Nick Groth gets the front right sides down before Anthony Titchener. Going to use our new feature to see if Nick Groth is able to beat him out. Oh, Nick Groth is going to get some damage fixed.
So a little hesitation by Nick Groth. Might have had him beat there, but he's going to come out second. Anthony Titchener. Now you're going to see that long gap before the rest of these cars come in. I believe they got trapped behind the damaged car of Justin Bland, Wayne Willard, Matthew Thunhorst,
Look
and
at
Rob
this
Burns.
race off pit road.
Going to be your top 5. So what a rebound from Matthew Thunhorst from, what was that, 18th position all the way up now to 4th.
Absolutely, up to 4th, John, and it's going to be tough to see if is he going to be able to capitalize and maybe challenge teammate and for the day team owner Anthony Titchener for a win. Don't be surprised if he is. And what kind of storyline would that be if Matthew Thunhorst can come in here in his ECR Cup Series debut, and if he can come out here and win?
It'll certainly be something to watch as we're going to get a restart with just about 40 laps to go. We're going to step away, take a quick commercial break, rest our voices for a minute, and we'll be back in just 60 seconds with what we hope is the final restart of the night. Alrighty guys, welcome back here to the ECR Cup Series here on a beautiful Tuesday night in Auto Club, California. Your leader, Anthony Titchener. No surprise there. Nick Groth second, Wayne Willard third. Matthew Thunhorst, Hard Charger Award so far of the night. Going to be up to 4th, and Rob Burns rounding out your top 5.
In 6th place, John Aaron Vincent. We mentioned his troubles early on in the yellow flag on Luis Salmazo. He's going to restart in the 6th position. Kevin Cook, our in-race reporter, he's going to restart 7th. Matthew George, we haven't talked about him at all. He's going to restart 8th. He's currently 5th in points, John. Only 11 points out first, so doing a great job by him. He's going to restart outside row 4. Mark Figueroa has been running up front all night. He's going to restart 9th. Charles Silver as well. He's going to restart 10th. Josh Mayu 11th. Chuck Harrell, he's got caught with that problem. He's going to probably go to the EOL. So 12th will go to Joy Lamb. Chris Sircoy, he's going to be restarting 13th. Nick Geilis, 14th. We haven't talked about him at all. Stephen Massey, Nick Geilis' teammate, is going to restart 15th. Sean Medling in the 1025, the Bone Chevrolet, is going to restart 16th. Chuck Harrell, 17th. And Corey Chaffin will take the wave round. He's going to be the last car on the lead lap. He's going to be in 18th in his number 33 car.
And I'm not sure, Colin, if you can back this up in iRacing or not, but I am showing the 48 of George Price retired from tonight's event. Tough break for him. Caught up in 2 wrecks that really neither one know where he could go. Both heavy front end damage, so if he is not retired, I'm sure he's very tore up. But showing retired for George Price as well as some other drivers tonight. Luis Salmazo still in it though, showing I believe going to be 9 laps down when he comes back around. So he's hung in there well, but a tough break for George Price and a tough night for that 48 team.
And such a tough break when he's entered the race, John, only 2 points outside of the points lead. He did a great job coming in here, and definitely a tough break for him. But Anthony Titchener only 3 points out of the points lead. He wants that points lead leaving Auto Club as we head to Martinsville next week, as well as Rob Burns and Matthew George both doing a great job.
And we mentioned most of these guys up there. Anthony Titchener, the only one with the win to lock him in the chase. So a lot on the line for these other drivers up there in that top 5.
And here we go, John. 42 laps to go as we get ready to restart here at Auto Club Speedway, the 2.0 mile D-shaped oval. 42 laps to go. Anthony Titchener, Nick Groth's going to bring him down to the green flag, and Anthony Titchener wastes no time. He's gone. Nick Groth on the outside gets a bad restart. Wayne Willard to the inside. He's going to make it side by side for second. Matthew Thunhorst gets a bad restart as well on the outside. Anthony Titchener pulling away, going down into turn 1.
And we mentioned Anthony Titchener, the master of those restart games. Nothing illegal, but he plays them very well. And tonight he's just been on the jump early. These guys not ready for it. Wayne Willard, a big push in turn 1. Caught one of those bumps because under control. Thought he was going to get into the 19 there, but he didn't. He's going to lose some time off. But Anthony Titchener been great all night on restarts. No surprise there. He's essentially become the restart master of ECR so far this season.
Absolutely, John. It's Matthew Thunhorst to the inside of Wayne Willard, his teammate for third. The Thunhorst, I believe, John, I think he's really the only guy that has anything for Anthony if he can get up there.
Matthew, I certainly think currently the best contender, which is, as we say, probably not what Anthony wanted. We talked about Anthony bringing in the sub for AJ, talking about wanting to finish the race. If he goes up there and beats him, it's going to be a bittersweet victory for that Haters Make Us Famous teams. Obviously, the sub beating your car owner is always a story that never really gets any airtime because it's just not probable in the real world, but here on iRacing, you never know what can happen.
Absolutely, John's got a car way down to the inside off turn 2. I'm not sure who that is. It looks like Chuck Harrell in the 80. I believe Chuck Harrell in the 88. Oh, excuse me, Nick Gillis in the 9, and very similar paint schemes there. He went all the way down to the inside off turn 2. He's going to lose a lot of positions going back to the 17th position.
Further up in the pack, these guys all over one another. Mark Figueroa trapped back there in 9th. He was up towards the front. Not sure what happened to that 00 car for him, but he's a little bit further back in the pack. Charles Silver back there as well. These guys battling around some drivers they haven't seen a lot tonight. It's dangerous at a track like this with as much control and braking goes into these cars.
Wayne Willard loose. Wayne Willard loose off turn 2.
Oh, Wayne Willard snaps it.
Charles Silver hard into him. Oh, no. Charles Silver did a great job all night long, and that's going to end his night easily.
Now 97 spun around as well. Wayne's going to tow. We'll go back and take a look at that. You can see here Wayne Willard, he's had a tough break. He just catches a bump. Great job by Rob again to dodge him. Charles Silver not so lucky. Also, it looks like the 50 gets caught up in that. The 88 with damage, and the 97 spins it down low. So, bigger wreck than when it first appeared.
Did a great job tonight. 0-1 of Wayne Willard and the 7 of Charles Silver. Both have done a great job all season long. Did a great job tonight as well. And very unfortunate to see both those guys taken out early on.
You can see Charles Silver, he picked the high lane, and the high lane wasn't where you want to go, and there's just nowhere to go for him. Front end of that car all torn up. He actually caught Chuck Harrell pretty good as he drove by. And we'll go back and take a look. I believe the 50 as well getting caught up in that pretty hard. So tough break for a lot of drivers there. Take a look here, the 50 Matthew George in that Realtree number 50 SS. He's going by. Yeah, he also is going to get into the wall a little bit, dodging the 7. So the 50, the 88, the 7, the 01, and the 97. I believe the 97, the least damage, just a little self-spin they're avoiding. But all those guys caught up, and obviously Silver and Willard are going to get the worst of that, and then Chuck Harrell with some pretty significant damage on that 88.
As well as Matthew George in the 50, John. Very unfortunate to see all those guys. Obviously, nothing they can do, especially when it comes to Charles Silver. Nothing he can literally do. He was just along for the ride as these guys are going to go one lap down, probably the first of many, as Anthony Titchener. Not many guys come down on pit road right there, John. That really actually surprises me.
No, I think these guys maybe playing a little bit of strategy.
Matthew George, Chuck Harrell, Nick Gillis, and Stephen Massey, Corey Chaffin as well on pit road. But I guess track position, is more key. But now I'm curious to see Matthew Thunhorst restart on the inside right behind his teammate Anthony Titchener. If he can get a good restart with Anthony, can he hold on and can he pass him for the win?
Yeah, the best break there for that caution, other than anyone getting the lucky dog, probably went to that 5 car. He obviously worked his way into the 3rd position, but was a little bit back of Anthony. Now he gets to start right on his bumper or to his inside. I'd imagine Anthony would take the inside line here. So he's gonna be in the catbird seat for the restart. He's been fast all night. We'll see what he can do. Again, though, Charles Silver, Nick Olson mentioned in the chat, Silver was a very fast race car all night long. It's just one of those things where you pick a line when you see smoke and just happen to be just not enough room. He put it in the wall trying to avoid him, and I think he caught him just a little bit too much, maybe a little net code involved as well. But Charles Silver's night surely done, at least definitely done after a contention for any kind of good finish here. The front end was missing from the race car, so tough break for Olson. He says, what a night from hell. I agree. A lot of these drivers, I think, feel that way. Wayne Willard obviously not having a good night at all. His second incident of the night might be his DQ for the race.
Let's see if we can get a word here, John, with Kevin Cook, because he's going to restart fourth here. He has to be feeling good about his chances. Kevin Cook, you got coffee, bud?
Yeah, 10-4.
Hey, man, you put yourself in one hell of a position up there, restarting on the outside of the second row for this restart. What's going through your mind right now? Are you going to try to go for the win, or are you just going to buy your time and hope to hold on and salvage the points lead?
I'm just going to hold on. I ain't got nothing for the 87. He's been working on his setup a lot, and it's a damn good setup, and I just don't have anything for it.
Absolutely, man. And, I mean, if he were able to slip up, do you have anything for the 19 or the 5 or anybody else behind you?
I think on the short run, I'm still a little quicker than they are. On the long run, it seems like they catch me. Seems to get a little tight on the long run. I'm still working on it, but I just haven't been able to get it out of it. But we'll see what we can do in these last 40, and I'm going to make some more changes and see what happens.
Absolutely, man. And you just mentioned it there. What do you seem to be more play into a factor tonight? You think tires, or you think track position is going to play more keys laps wind down here at Auto Club?
Oh, it's definitely going to be track position, because I know it took me forever to get back up through the field, but I'm finally back up here, and I was thinking about going in and making some changes, but with just under 40 to go, I'm pretty sure I want to stay up front, and then we'll get tires later on when everybody else pits.
Absolutely, man. Well, you're getting ready to double file them up right here. Good luck the rest of the tonight, man. It'll probably be the last we hear from you, unless you get that podium finish later on tonight. So good luck the rest of the race, buddy.
Thank you.
And that was tonight's in-race reporter, the number 45 of Kevin Cook. We'd like to say thank you to him for the interviews. He did say something interesting. We mentioned the last cycle of pit stops, the leader stayed out. He did mention track position, very, very important. So maybe playing a little bit into their position, or their strategy call there to keep their position. So Anthony Titchener holds on to first, Nick Groth outside row 1 in second, and that hard charger, Matthew Thunhurst, going to restart third here.
Kevin Cook, we mentioned him. He's going to restart fourth. He's our race reporter. We got a lot of words for him tonight. He's doing a great job in that number 45 Star Wars Chevrolet. Rob Burns going to restart in the inside of the third row in fifth place. He's doing a great job tonight. We haven't really talked about him a lot. He's obviously been in quite a few battles, but he's restarting fifth. Joy Lamb sixth. Aaron Vincent has been running in the latter part of that top 10, John, all night long, doing a great job in his number 49 Lowe's Chevrolet after, obviously, that first yellow flag. He's going to restart 7th. Mark Figueroa 8th. He's been trapped back there ever since that last pit stop. Josh Mayu 9th, and Chris Turcoy in 10th. Sean Medling in the 102.5 The Bone, struggling to hang on right now, but he's hanging on slightly. He's going to restart 11th. Chuck Harrell 12th. Nick Geilis 13th. Stephen Massey 14th. Corey Chaffin 15th. And Matthew George 16th. Those guys all pitted from 11th on back.
So as we get ready to go restart racing here, we're going to have 35 laps to go. That's not a lot, and it's quite a bit here at Auto Club, but still, you know, just about a third of the race left here. So not a lot of racing left. Matthew Thunhorst knows if he's going to go, he's got to go now. He's got to get to the bumper of his teammate this week, the 87 Anthony Titchener, in that sub. The pace car's off. And again, Anthony playing the restart game is not going to go.
Holding on here.
Now he steps on
gone.
it.
Green flag, green flag.
And that checked the whole outside lane up. Nick Groth tried to time it right, and he just wasn't able to. That's going to allow Matthew Thunhorst to get cleared to second. Can he set his sights on Anthony Titchener in the 87? And if so, can he do it now?
Talked about those restart games. He waited all night long until he needed it, and he stacked the field. Got a little bit of a jump on that 5. Nick Groth going to battle back on the outside, not going to let the 5 go.
Kevin Cook, look at him. He wants that podium finish. He's going to go the outside of the 5. Matthew Thunhorst. Kevin Cook in the 45 car, trying to hang on the outside.
He wasn't done being interviewed. He wants to be back up here at the end of the night in that top 3. He talked about he had a good short run car. We're still in that short run period since the last pit stop, so he certainly still might have something for these front guys. Thunhorst back to 3rd. That lets Nick Groth now going to get his nose in clean air and go after the leader.
And John, I just don't think the 19 has anything for Anthony Thitchner. He hasn't been able to hold on to Anthony as well as the 5 or really anybody. I mean, he's probably done some of the best. He hits the apron, he gets loose, chases him up the hill off turn 2. That's going to allow the 5 to get underneath him, side by side, drag race down the backstretch. And
if you're Matthew here, you have to go. I mean, this is your shot. You might not get that other caution. You most likely will because it's Auto Club, but you very well might not get that next caution.
He may not even get another ride in the Cup Series right now this year. He's really racing for a ride right now. He's trying to show these Cup owners that he can drive, and he's doing a great job of that right now as he's cleared a second, just about a second behind Anthony Thitchner for the lead.
You want to talk about all or nothing. He is not running for championship points. He's not running for a trophy. He is running for one thing, and that's a win here tonight in that number 5 car. So he literally has nothing to lose as he goes after the 87. His team owner and teammate for tonight, Anthony Thitchner. That's going to be fun if he gets there.
Closed. I know Anthony got a little loose off turn 2 at the same time as Nick Groth, but Matthew Thunhorse has closed that lead, and it is a battle now.
As you said, Matthew, really the only car here tonight I think that's got something for him. They're running, I imagine, pretty similar setups, just not identical setups. Being from the same team, I know they worked a lot in practice on them. And they've got those cars set up pretty well, and if they're identical, it's just going to come down to drivers. And we know both of them very good drivers. We race with them every week in the Xfinity Series. We watch Anthony on here every week, and I know Matthew's very talented. So if it comes down to drivers, it'll be a fun battle towards the end here.
Absolutely. Kevin Cook has made his way past Nick Groth. That's for 3rd. Top 4 have really pulled away from the rest of the field, but Kevin Cook cleared a 3rd right now. He wants to be interviewed again, as you mentioned. Dunhorse in the 5. I don't know if when Anthony got loose there, if it superheated his tires or if he's just getting a little nervous right now and taking cautious, but the 5 is coming as he pushes up towards the wall.
And with that 5 coming,
Nick
Kevin
Groth
Cook.
loose.
And Nick Groth's going to lose it.
Through the grass. I don't think that's going to bring out a yellow unless he comes up.
He's going to keep that race car down there. Good control by Nick Groth to hang on to it.
Such
as
a
he
tough
slides
break
his way back up onto the asphalt. What a bad break. We haven't used it all night, but unfortunate for Nick Groth. And he's not done yet now. Onto the apron. Those tires have got to be absolutely melted on that race car.
And John, after such a promising night all night long here with just over 30 laps to go, as we come to take 30 to go this time by Nick Groth, definitely an unfortunate set of circumstances for him.
And a bad break we talked about very early in the race and in the qualifying. He had another very good qualifying run. He was on the pole most of the qualifying, had it stolen away by Anthony towards the end. Started 2nd. He had a bit of a wiggle early on, some scary moments, but he recovered. He hung in there. He was hanging in the top 5 all night, and now as we wind down with 30 laps to go, just snapped loose on him coming out of turn 4 there. Good job of saving in the grass and not getting that car hurt, but downside of that, no caution, and he's going to find himself way back there in the 15th position.
And John, I just want to point out that Young Guns Racing team owner Nick Olson has, I believe, made a business proposition to Matthew Thunhorse before the race is even over right now, saying that if he wants this open car in the 38, it's his. So, Nick, I don't think this is the place to make business propositions, but trying to do everything he can to get that 5 car rod.
You know, I don't blame him. After this run tonight, that 5 is going to be one heavily sought-after free agent. He's taken a car that he really hasn't practiced much. I mean, I imagine they had this lined up. Actually, no, Anthony just posted on Facebook, I believe today, asking for a free agent. So just before the race, kind of a Brett Moffitt situation we saw last week at the Real Auto Club. So hopped in this car today, got the setup. They worked with AJ a little bit, as you said, not suspended from the league completely, just the race tonight. So they worked with AJ a little bit and got this set up to where they feel they can race it as he's going to drop back to 3rd. Kevin Cook making a run. But certainly put on a show tonight. If this is what he can do with this short of notice, imagine what he can do when he gets behind the wheel for a full week of practice.
Absolutely, John. He's doing a great job in that number 5 car. And he's really, I think he's overstepped, I guess, Anthony's boundaries, I guess, for what his goals that he wanted for a fill-in driver. Matthew Thunhorse doing a fantastic job. The 2nd highest running right now, Haters Make Us Famous car. As out of the 3 remaining, they're running 1st, 3rd, and 5th, so doing a great job for Haters Make Us Famous Racing.
Certainly, we talked to Anthony before the race, and all he wanted was him to finish. Obviously, didn't want to pay the rebuild fee. You know, when you run a car, you want to make money, you don't want to pay money. So all he wanted was a good finish, a solid finish, and here he is battling for 2nd behind the guy that said it, Anthony Thitchner. So certainly you know, heads and tails above what Anthony expected tonight, and certainly I'm sure Anthony's not upset. If he gets up there and beats him, I don't think Anthony will be upset, because it's good talent, very good talent in this league.
Absolutely, John. He's going to make his way underneath Kevin Cook for second. These guys, I think these guys have realized that Anthony's a little out of their sights, and these guys are going to try to make a battle of their own, trying to make it very interesting. The 5 and the 45 making a great battle. It looks like Kevin Cook's going to let him go, off turn 4.
And what Kevin talked to us about in that last in-race reporter interview, long run setup not where he wants to be. He gets a little tight, starting to show here. He passed him in the short run, and now that it's back to the long run, kind of slipping a little bit. Now, what I'm interested to see, we haven't really seen Matthew Thunhorst up front over a long run tonight. So as the laps wind down here, that was 26 to go that time by, excuse me. What can he do with Anthony? Does he have the long run car to get to him? They're running, as we said, probably identical setups. Who's better at tire conserving, and who can get up there and get after that lead?
And John, running with these guys on a weekly basis, I do feel like Anthony is the better tire conserver. But the question is, John, if we get a late race caution, that changes everything, because you're going to have guys from the back making track position. You're going to guys having the guys in the front wanting to get those 4 fresh tires. So anything can happen. Don't count anything out until that checkered flag flies.
And the way these guys are racing back from about 5th to 10th position, 5th to 9th position, there certainly could be a late race caution. These guys all over one another. You saw Aaron Vincent and Joey Lamb going at it with the slide job and the crossover to boot. These guys certainly not done racing. They know they might not have a shot at the win, but every point still crucial if we don't get the chase locked in on wins.
And John, how about Chris Coy? We haven't really talked about him at all. And his number 42 machine, he's running 9th right now, side by side with Chuck Harrell in a great battle here.
Chris Coy, very much the Ricky Stenhouse type, a guy that certainly has the talent and the ability to run up front, might just not have the cars week to week that he would like. And we haven't really called his name a lot, but tonight a very strong performance. You mentioned up to 9th. He's dodged his way through some wrecks. Got that number 42 Chevy SS up there in the top 10 and a solid run. I like his paint scheme. I'd like to see more of it. He continues to get up there and run in that top 10.
Absolutely, John. We got a great battle going on here. As you mentioned earlier, from 4th on back, Aaron Vincent and Joy Lamb have not seemed to get away from each other all night long, and especially here late on tonight. Joy Lamb barely clips the apron there. He's going to slide up, but Aaron Vincent going to get a great run off. But these guys have been all over each other all night long, probably getting sick of each other, as I know I would be.
Yeah, Auto Club, one of those places that it kind of takes the short track tempers and ramps them up, because it almost, as I've mentioned all night long, and you guys might think I'm crazy, and I very well might be, but it almost races like a big Bristol. It's so fast, and it's for such a big track, it's very tight confines off the corner, so it kind of, it's fast short track racing almost in the way that you're just never really away from anybody. So you kind of get sick of seeing a guy's bumper, and it gets even worse at 200 miles an hour because you just not a whole lot of room for air. So these guys all over one another. Aaron Vincent, good recovery though, hanging on to that 4th position after some early trouble tonight.
He's doing a great job, John, that number 49 car, and I don't know if anyone's ever made such a nice recovery in one night, but he's doing a great job after obviously the accident on lap 3 with Luis Salmazo. So he's doing a great job.
Yeah, he got lucky in the sense that it happened early. Obviously, never want to be caught up in trouble, but if you're going to get caught up in trouble, lap 2 is not a bad time to get it. So he got it fixed, he got the fenders pounded out, and he's been on the charge ever since. Again, Matthew Thunhorst, the same thing, your 2nd place runner, who actually gained a few tenths on the lead that time. Another guy that he had the trouble early enough that he was able to recover. So we're in that stage of the race now that trouble is a killer, but early on, these guys make a nice rebound.
He's doing a great job, John, in that number 5 car. But so much stuff going on right now. It's hard to kind of keep track. But Matthew Thunhorst does another great job. He gains almost another 10th right there on the leader, Anthony Fisher. So with laps winding down here, 21 to go that time by, does he have time to reel in the 87?
I think it's going to depend just on who can save those tires and still drive the race car. It'll come down to, I mean, obviously, you know, I think Matthew had a little bit of disadvantage. He hasn't run the Cup Series this season. This is his 4th race in it, and obviously a little more experience behind the wheel. But this being iRacing, I'm sure Matthew's had plenty of time in a Gen 6. I'm sure he's run plenty of laps, maybe not with this exact setup at this exact track, but he's got the wheel of that car down. So I think it's going to be interesting to see. Next few laps might decide the race if he can close or not.
And ran identical laps that time, John. Identical laps. Matthew Thunhorst in the 5 and Anthony Fisher in the 87. We saw last night, John, a side-by-side finish come to the line, a great finish between myself and James Thorndike. We could be setting ourselves up for another one tonight.
And I want to give an on-air shout. I know James doesn't race in the Cup Series, but that finish between you and him last night was something of legend. That was something that I wish we had broadcast, because that would have gone down in the archives for a very long time. A great race off turn 4. The crossovers, just the moves you guys are pulling were crazy, and I certainly hope we get a replay of that tonight between Anthony and Matt, or anyone else that can catch him for that matter. But great finish last night. I want to give a call to you and James on what was a fantastic finish to watch and rewatch.
And John, Matthew gained 2/10 on him there, reeling him in slowly but surely. 1.3 seconds at the line that time by, and he's closing in. Anthony Fisher has not been pressured tonight, John. I'm wondering to see if he does get pressured, will he overdrive that car?
And what I think is really helping,
led the most laps tonight.
It's really helping Matthew here is he can still see Anthony very clearly, and he can still kind of match his line. He's not checked out to the point where Matthew's kind of in the dark.
Anthony Fisher has to check up off turn 4. That's going to cost some time.
And here comes Matthew. That was 4/10 that time off of turn number 4 alone. Within a second now as Matthew Thunhorse we're going to work 18 to go that time by.
And Matthew Thunhorse, John, has run back-to-back laps with the same exact time of 41.567, hitting his marks. Fantastic. And what kind of storyline would it be if he can win in his Cup debut?
Even if he just gets up there and battles, the guy that hires him to sub comes up and beats him. What a story that would be here at Auto Club. This isn't a track known for a whole lot of drama, but that would certainly be a fun one to watch as they work turn number 4, coming to 17 to go this time by. He's certainly got time. It's just a story of if he has the car. One thing I've noticed a little bit here watching is Anthony not arcing that car out as high as Matt off the corner, maybe dealing with a little bit of a tight setup there, not able to let the car release. It was 8/10 at the line that time. I think he's going to get there.
It's a matter of, I don't think it's a matter when or if he gets there, John. I think it's a matter of when and if he can pass him. He's really reeling him in right now. Matthew Thunhorse doing a fantastic job. Laps are winding down, and the question is, can he pass him? We know it's hard to pass, and we mentioned Kevin Cook when he said he had his track position problems, but we could always get a late race caution and end it early, so you never know. Matthew Thunhorse really cannot waste any time if he gets up there.
And I know you're always supposed to race
Anthony
your
Fisher
team
has to
owner.
lift out of it again right there.
And caution on the
is out
racetrack.
right there. And I think that's a blessing in disguise for Anthony Fisher right there.
Nick Groth going to be the caution. The tough night continues for him. We'll go back, obviously take a look here. Saw him parked down the backstretch. He's just been fighting that race car for the whole entirety of this run. What a great job keeping it off the wall, but still going to spin it out. Caution flag does wave. And as we said earlier, this just about changes everything.
Now the question is, John, do you pit?
I think you just about have to.
You're the crew chief here.
Well, boss, I think you've run, what, about 30 laps? 25, 30 laps on these tires.
You've run roughly 20, I think about 25, 30 laps. Yeah.
If you don't pit, you're dead. I think if you don't pit, somebody's going to pit, and if they pit and you don't pit, you're dead. And I just said pit about 7 times.
But what if you string together 2 cautions here? It's over. I think you're going to see a mixture of things, John. I don't think you're going to see everybody do one thing. I think you're going to see these guys up front. I think you're definitely going to see them pit. But I think you may see some guys in the back try to gamble on track position.
If you're dead last right now, you have absolutely nothing to lose by not pitting here. So.
And everybody pits.
Luis Salmazo, you see staying out there, is a lap down. Nick Groth is your last lead lap car, and he will pit. So everybody on pit road, and the 5 and the 87, no room given even on pit road, tucked up right behind each other as they work down this long pit road here.
I think you're going to see, this is where you wish we could put side-by-side screens, John, as these guys come into their pit stall. Anthony Fincher sliding into his pit stall.
Wow, he got all he could get into his pit box there. Now, that advantage of that first pit box is going to be huge here as they come off pit road. We'll obviously get you the look that we've been getting you all night long with the new pit lane camera.
Oh, someone took 2 tires. Chris
Coy out first. Anthony Titchener second, third Matthew Thunhorst. Kevin Cook and I believe Aaron Vincent your top 5.
Matthew Thunhorst.
This, yeah, absolutely
because
perfect.
He's starting on the inside.
But Chris Coy with what could be the move of the night.
That?
2-tire stop, nothing to lose really. He's been running top 10. We gave him a call earlier. He's got a car tonight. He certainly has a car.
He's doing a great job, John.
And he's going to put it to work here. Takes 2 out in first. Your new leader.
Wow.
42 of Chris Coy. I said we liked his paint scheme. Let's get us some camera shots of it up front. See if he can pull the reverse
How
landing
about
castle
that?
and stay up there and get himself a good finish. In all honesty, I don't think he's got a car to win, but certainly a top 5 just opened up for him.
Absolutely, John. And it's roughly about the same time we had our last restart last night as well. Roughly, 12 to 15 laps to go. Definitely could play into a factor. Chris took 2 tires. He's coming back down pit road.
Maybe missed the pit box there.
No, he did take 2. I went back and looked at it.
Interesting. Well, that plays spoiler. Anticlimactic as it ever gets. Christopher Coy back on pit road. Not sure as to why. Said he took 2 tires for sure, so he's going to pull back into his pit box. Not sure what happened there. Maybe a miscue, but not one to stay out front. That'll put Anthony Ditchner back in the lead. Put Matthew Thunhorst on his outside.
And he only took 2 tires right there, so
maybe he just doesn't want to be out front. He take rights and lefts.
He did.
Yeah, maybe realized he took 2 tires. Maybe didn't want to get out in first. Maybe got out in first. Yeah, I mean, some guys, obviously, I can't blame him. I'd probably do just about the same thing. Don't want to be out in front of this pack of angry race cars, and figures best for his points tonight to pull back down pit road. I think he knew he wasn't going to win, and I think maybe he thought being first on a restart might just cause himself to get turned. So Christopher Coy getting us excited and then pulling the proverbial rug out from under us there. But at the end of the night, I think not a bad move. Anthony Ditchner cycles back to the point.
How about Haters Make Us Famous Racing 1, 2, 3 right now?
And an interesting 1, 2, 3. Obviously, Anthony's dominated all night long, but the second place car, subbing for the suspended AJ Scarborough, went all the way back to 18th position on a restart, worked his way to 5th, got into 3rd on the pit stops. He's been there. Aaron Vincent caught in a wreck early on. He went to the back of the pack. He's worked his way back to 3rd, and then Kevin Cook could play spoiler here tonight to that 1, 2, 3 party. He's in 4th. He's had a solid night, and then Rob Burns are out in your top 5.
Yeah, John, in 6th, we got Mark Figueroa. He's going to restart 6th. Chuck Harrell, 7th. Joey Lamb, 8th. Sean Medling, 9th. And then Stephen Massey going to finally get back inside the top 10. He struggled ever since that great starting position from the 3rd position. He's going to restart 10th. Nick Geilis, after getting loose on there on the bottom, he's going to start 11th. Josh Mayu, 12th. Chris Coy, after coming and pulling out, as you mentioned, pulling that rug out from underneath, he's going to restart 13th. Matthew George, 14th. Nick Groth, 15th. And Corey Chaffin. We haven't talked about him at all, but he's been able to hold on to that lead lap. He's going to restart 16th.
So just setting the storylines here. Your front line, for those of you that haven't been with us all night, the front row, the inside car, the 87, is the owner, not only of Haters Make Us Famous, but of the league itself, of the ECR league. That is your owner. AJ Scarborough, one of his better drivers, was suspended. And so he went out and he found himself a sub just before practice opened tonight. They got in, they built him a setup, and they thought, okay, we talked to him before the race. He just wanted him to finish. He's outside row, coming to 12 to go on the final restart. Like I said, not only the owner of the team, the owner of the league, and a guy in his first ECR Cup Series start is going to be on the outside row. So if that's not a storyline for the age, I don't know what is. We'll see what he can do with it, but it's going to be a fun finish for sure.
Absolutely, John. 12 laps to go here for all those viewers at home. This is what Auto Club Racing's Auto Club Speedway is known for. These great restarts, these great racing restarts. Hopefully, we can have one here in ECR. Anthony Fincher's been able to get the jump on the restart all night long. Pace cars getting ready to make that hard left turn down the front straightaway pit stop.
If there's ever a track that you wanted to see a late race restart on, it is this one. And Anthony Ditchner again with the restart games. Matthew Thunhorst caught sleeping. And Anthony Ditchner pulls away, but Thunhorst hanging strong on the outside, going to hold on to P2 down to the turn number 1.
And John, I think that's all he needs to do. The question is, he was able to reel him in on the long run. Can he do it on the short run right now? Anthony Ditchner, obviously, with the setup feels better on the short run for him, so can he hold on to the lead? Chuck Harrell's shoving it 3 wide, cutting the gap right there. He's getting loose.
And they're wrecking in the back. Joey Lamb around. Hard to the inside wall. Actually, did he save that race car?
Flag.
No caution out for that one. No damage shown on the 81. He might have held onto that race car.
If he did one hell of a job.
Let's actually go back and take a look really quick. Just kissed the back end. What a save by Joey Lamb. I thought that race car was
John, if we get another caution in the restart, he will be all right.
Yeah, what a great save. Obviously late in the race, not what you want to do, but save of the night maybe there. Nose first in the inside wall. and ended up with just a little bit of left rear damage. Now working on the inside of the 49, the 00, that's for third. The front two pulled away and just about back to where we were before the caution, about 9-10.
John, the thing is now is that Anthony's been able to get that short run set up right where he wants it, so he's doing a lot better on the short run as opposed to the long run. So maybe if this thing stays green, Matthew can reel him in, but I think if it stays the way it's going now, I don't think he's going to be able to really do anything about it.
If you're Matthew right now, you just about have to have this thing run green. Anthony's too good at restarts, and you got the long run car, so you just about have to have it stay green. If it does, he might have something for him, but right now Anthony's showing that he's the class of the field and putting on a show yet again, out to about a second lead. Battle on track right now is for third. See the 49 of Aaron Vincent sliding around on the outside of the 00.
Anthony got a little loose there off turn 4. He's able to grab it. Hopefully making him get a good run.
Late in the race, putting that throttle down just a little bit earlier. Might be costing him just a little bit of time. He's run consistent all night long. The nerves maybe getting to him just a little bit.
Matthew Thunhorse closed in about a 10th that time.
Think he might get there. As you said, just a matter of if he can pass.
It's a matter of getting it past, yep. And obviously he's not going to race him too hard. I mean, it's the league owner and his owner of the car right now. But if this thing stays green, we're going to have another one of these nice little Auto Club finishes. I
was going to mention, it's such a tough situation to be in if you're Matthew, because you want to get up there and race the wheels off of him. And obviously Anthony wouldn't mind at all. I mean, he's a race car driver through and through. If they went up there and were dooring each other coming down the front stretch, they wouldn't care. But still, I mean, that's your car owner, it's your league owner, and you're a rookie. So, I mean, what do you do here if you get to him? Do you stick it in there and try to slide job him, or do you kind of give him a little bit of break? I think if I know Matthew, I think he sticks it in there and tries that slide job.
Oh, yeah. He has nothing to lose, John. Obviously, these guys are running first and second. I think if Anthony realizes these guys finish first and second, I don't think Anthony will have any problem with it.
No, I think John, as long as you come out of here with
point out another factor here. If Matthew Thunhorse wins and he's able to get a ride for the rest of the season in the Cup Series, he qualifies for the chase.
So maybe nothing to lose becomes a lot to lose for Matthew Thunhorse. If he gets picked up, obviously Nick Olson, we mentioned, throwing out those business propositions, he could very well lock himself in the chase right here tonight in the 5 car, which is AJ Scarborough's ride. So he's half a second back there. He's closing 7 to go that time by.
He really needs this thing to stay green, John. If there's another caution, I don't think he's going to have really any chance, especially on a restart. Anthony Fincher's just been toying with the field on restarts. So I know he's hoping this thing stays green, but definitely with the lap car George Price there, these guys are really racing hard in the back of the pack. Matthew Thunhorse really hoping this thing stays green. Anthony hasn't been pressured a whole lot tonight, John.
Got a really good battle between the 19, the 49, and the 45. That's for your top 5 position. The 19 slides up. What a save on the 45 and the 19 keeping off each other there. Not a lot of time lost. 49's got his mirror full of those 2 drivers.
Anthony Fincher and Matthew Thunhorse ran just about dead even laps that time, as Mark Figueroa has been cleared to 3rd, and he's starting to pull away to be able to gap them. Our podium finishers seem to be setting themselves in stone. The matter is, Anthony gets a little loose off turn 2. Matter is just what order we are going to get. Mark Figueroa is spinning to the inside just as I say that.
Mark Figueroa going to get that car refired. We do stay green, no caution out.
That is a self-spin.
No need for the caution. He's well off the track. There's no debris here on iRacing, so the green flag stays in the flagman's hand.
5 laps to go. And, John, now this race is official.
So now if you're Matthew, you absolutely have to have it stay green. He's there. He's going to be there. I don't think there's any doubt. He's got his draft now. If he can just continue to run those lines, I think he's going to be there with a shot to win this thing.
Wow. What a storyline this is, John. Matthew Thunhorse making it fun for us up here in the booth and making it fun, hopefully, for you fans at home. Great race we are going to have here at Auto Club. We didn't get to see the side-by-side finish last night. Hopefully we can see it tonight.
I just want to say, Mark Figueroa ran up front all night long. We kind of glazed over that in light of what was happening up front, but an awful break for him. He had a great run.
Yeah.
And I mean, the whole hood's destroyed off that car. He's probably going to finish lap or 2 down. I believe he might have even taken it to pit road there. No, he's still on the track. So tough break for Mark Figueroa, but we're winding down here. 4 to go that time. The gap's kind of stabilized.
Anthony actually pulled away. I think Matthew's trying to drive it in too hard, and he's losing it on exit, John. And I think he's overdriving the car right now.
You know, and something too, we mentioned the draft. You pick up a little speed, and he's been running the same marks for probably 30 laps now. So you kind of maybe mess with the marks just a little bit. He's going to have 3 laps to go this time to settle it in there. It's going to be about half a second off. I think it'll be interesting to see if he can get there. Back
Like
in
I
the
said,
pack,
Anthony
battle's not
hasn't
done
really
for
been
third.
pressured a whole lot. If
Podium.
Anthony gets pressured, will he break under the pressure?
Podium was set in stone, but Nick Groth kind of slipping now. The 49 and 45 are there side by side down the front stretch. 3 laps to go here at Auto Club.
Great racing all over the place, John, and no better place to do it than here on MOTV and ECR. We're going to come down for a great finish here. 2.5 laps to go. Anthony Fisher really carries the car out to the wall that time. Not really something he's been able to do all night long. But 2.5 laps to go, we're going to have set for a great finish here if this thing stays green.
Certainly not done yet. Anthony Ditchner just a slip away of losing it all. He's led almost every lap tonight. Now he's got his sub-driver a half-second back, coming to 2 laps to go this time by. Side by side again for third position. These guys all over one another. Back there in the pack, another half-second here. I think it's going to take an Anthony Ditchner slip at this point.
Matthew closed the gap a little bit there, but like you said, it's going to take something to do with wrong with Anthony. He's going to have to push a little bit, as he did a little bit there. He wasn't able to apex as much as he's been doing.
Matthew closed just a little bit, about a tenth there. They do have a lap car in front of him. I don't know if they're going to get there or not. Coming to the white flag, these two are going to have a mirror and a windshield full of each other. And the battle's on for third. Kevin Cook is there for the podium finish.
White flag in the air, John. 1 lap to go. 2 miles left here at Auto Club Speedway. As you see them putting Corey Chaffin in 33 lap down. Matthew Thunhorse is there 3/10 behind him.
What I wouldn't give to have 2 screens right now. 3/10 of a second between your 2 leaders on the white flag. The battle for third, certainly not over. Kevin Cook over the back bumper. You got the 49 and the 12 doing battle for the top 5. What a great finish to a great race here tonight as they work the backstretch for the final time here at Auto Club Speedway.
And John, they're going to go off and barrel it off into turn 3. Matthew Thunhorse is going to have to dive it in there and hope it sticks. He's not going to do it. He's going to have to hope Anthony pushes here. Anthony's going to push. Thunhorse gets a run off turn 4. Is it going to be a stick? He has the run, John. I don't think he's going to be able to get there.
Closes up on his bumper.
Ditchner with the win. What a race.
Coming to the line here for third, going to be Nick Groth in third, Kevin Cook in fourth, Rob Burns rounding out your top 5. And that's going to be it for the battles here as they'll cycle across. Your top 10 will be set in just a minute. But what a fight. What a fight by Anthony Ditchner. Just a little push at the end allowed that 2-car or 5-car
bumper. There was a wreck in the back of the pack. Stephen Massey and Nick Geilis, teammates in the 97 and the 9 wrecked as they came across the start-finish line.
Looking
as
at a
well
replay
as George
here.
Price once again.
And George Price, finally, all night long, he's been caught in 2 separate incidents, finally found the brake pedal in time, and I think he just kept his nose off of the spinning car of the 97. Tough break there, though, for those two. I don't think it hurt their finishing positions all that much, but George Price finally able to keep the nose clean. But your winner tonight at Auto Club, Anthony Ditchner, burning it down. And honestly, Matthew Thunhorse might want to do a few donuts there in pit road. What a run by him tonight.
Absolutely.
The sub-driver comes in, finishes second to the car owner. Certainly nothing wrong with that. Your third-place finisher, Nick Groth, will have those interviews for you in just a second, but a great win tonight by that 87 car.
Nick Groth in the 19, man. I've been giving you hell all week about consistency, and tonight you really did a good job of it. You were able to stay inside the top 5 the majority of the night. You had one little slip there, but a P3 overall, Nick, you did a great job tonight, man. P3, you have to feel good about your chances going off into Martinsville next week.
Yeah, the setup, it was pretty good in the first half. I just couldn't get a good run coming off the corner there. But it was fast in turns 3 and 4, but turn 2 I just couldn't get the power down. So later on in the race I was trying to get going and I just couldn't get it. Rear end stepped out from underneath me in turn 2 and caution came out. Those last 15 or 20 laps, whatever it was, the car was just hooked up in turn 2. I don't know what happened, what was the deal there, but the car was just hooked up and flying.
Absolutely, man. You did a great job tonight, and you were able to race really well around Kevin Cook. You guys had a good battle there as in the closing laps. You were trying to keep an eye on it, and you guys did a great job. You guys finished 3rd and 4th, so a great battle between you guys. You guys had a little close call off turn 4 there with about 4 to go, but nice job holding off there, man. You guys did a hell of a job wheeling it.
Yeah, me and Kevin, we were racing real close there. I don't know if we made contact or not. He said I did, but if it was my fault, I apologize. I don't think any harm or foul came from that. I don't like to race people that way, but those last 15 laps, I just can't get over that. The car was junk in turn 2 all race long. Then those last 15 is just gold.
Absolutely, man. Well, thank you for your time tonight, man. P3, Nick Groth, and his number 19, first top 5 of the season, man. Good job. Congrats on that, and we'll see you next week in Martinsville.
Yeah, you too. Thanks.
That was your third place finisher, that number 19 of Nick Groth. A great rebound night for him and a great story there with the third place. Now we'll go pull down what I think probably the story of the night, the number 5 car, Matthew Thunhurst, your second place finisher.
Yeah, that was one heck of a race there with Anthony at the end. Man, I don't know. Wow, I was giving it everything.
I gotta say, man, I haven't had the chance to interview you, and it's not for lack of trying. Your first race in the ECR Cup Series, man. What went right out there for you tonight?
Anthony basically, and I was like, hey man, I need a guy to drive, and he gave me one heck of a setup, and I just tried to drive the wheels off the thing for him, and wow, that thing was a rocket. It was so fast, and I was watching him there in that last long green flag run, and I found some speed, and I was trying to run him down.
Absolutely, man. You did a hell of a job, a remarkable job, and I do want to point out that you do have a couple job offers here for the Cup Series. Nick Olson and for Young Guns Racing, he says you have a ride if you want it, man. It's all yours. Definitely turning some heads tonight in the Cup Series, and we mentioned that all you need to do is get that win and run 50% of the regular season, and you're in the chase, so you're definitely turning some heads right now, man. You did a hell of a job out there tonight.
Oh yeah, I was a little worried there after that first pit stop because I looked down and saw my oil temp at 265 and I had too much tape on, and I got back in that field and I was thinking I was going to get stuck back there, but the thing ran good out in clean air. The thing ran great in traffic. I mean, I can't express enough gratitude to Anthony for giving me such an awesome setup.
Well, hey man, hell of a run tonight. We look forward to seeing you in the future. I got to ask you before we let you go, any plans to run in the Cup? Any plans to hit him up on those job offers?
Nah, I wasn't really thinking about running A, but if I get setups like this and guys who can help me set them up, I might be looking seriously at it.
We heard it here, folks. Here we heard it here first. Another driver considering the ECR Cup Series. We'll look forward to that going forward. But good one tonight, man. Good P2, and we look forward to seeing more from you.
Yeah, thanks, y'all.
And that was your second place finish, the number 5, excuse me, Matthew Thunhurst. What a great race by him.
And now, John, the man of the night. He had his little slip up there in the end, but dominating performance by the 87 Jim Beam Chevrolet. Anthony Fisher celebrating in victory lane, man. Congratulations on yet another dominating performance and the first repeat winner of the ECR season.
Thank you guys, man. I appreciate it. It was a heck of a race, I'll tell you. To have Matthew on my butt there at the end, man, and putting the pressure on the way he did, it was crazy. I mean, them guys had the setup. My guys were running real strong all night. Just really impressive, man. I hope everybody enjoyed it. Scared at the end there that I was just going to lose it all, man. Don't know what he did to it, but he did something, and it's just great run overall. Great race, and it was fun.
I gotta ask you there, man. What would have been the emotions if he had caught you there? We know, obviously, the owner bringing in the sub. What were you thinking close down the closing stretch there when he was gaining on you?
It definitely would have sucked. I mean, it would have sucked. At the same time, he was driving for me and put another car in victory lane. You know, maybe give him I don't know about the chase because I don't think he would have got enough starts, but I mean, that's something else to put into the equation there. I'm glad to have a second win and to put me above one win now, so almost guaranteeing a spot for the chase, you know. It's real great, man. It's a great feeling. Hard work's paying off.
Absolutely, man. And as a team owner, I mean, you finished with a first, a second, and a sixth tonight. Obviously, and Willard had it was running up front all night long. Obviously, with the problem there midway through the race, but a first, second, and a sixth. As a team owner, you have to feel really good about your team's chances here as you guys progress through the season.
Yeah, actually, first, second. The 6th and 7th. 7th is Sean Medling. He drives for us as well, so even better for us, man. Just like I said, I couldn't ask enough for these guys. Total team effort. These guys are on every day running laps. We all have jobs and we're all busy, but whenever we get the chance, we're posting something up in our group page, and it's just a total team effort, and it makes my job a lot easier as a team owner. It feels great to have these guys, you know, running as hard as they can, and finally these results are showing. I love it, man. It's awesome.
And I do want to point out that not only do your 2 wins pass you to the top, but you also have the most points in ECR to the point now. After winning and dominating today, you received 48 points. Kevin Cook only received 41. So you're up there, man. You're the points leader right now.
You're kidding.
I'm dead serious.
Oh,
You are the
man.
points leader.
It don't get no better than that. That's
And
awesome,
by
guys.
far, you are dominating, and you are really locked into the chase right now. So congratulations on that, man, and congratulations on yet another dominating performance.
Thanks, guys. Thank you for everything you guys do, man. You guys put on a heck of a broadcast. I hope everybody enjoyed it, and we appreciate it. We got a long season to go here. Stay tuned, man. We'll be back from Martinsville next week.
And that was your league owner and the winner tonight, Anthony Ditchner, the number 87, as Colin said, to the points lead. So what a race. I was worried coming into tonight with some of the drama we had last week. It might overshadow what was going to be an amazing race, but not even close. These guys drove the wheels off the race cars tonight. And up front, Anthony Ditchner, obviously the story of the night. Matthew Thunhorse coming home second and Nick Groth third. So a great run by them. Any closing thoughts here tonight, Colin, before we hop off the air?
Not really, man, but how about the racing Auto Club brought to us tonight? Nothing really similar to any track we've been to, and we probably won't see anything similar until we go to Michigan this June, but a great, fun race. We had a lot of fun up here. Anthony Fisher was the class of the field all night, and it turned around and almost bit him in the butt at the end there with his teammate Matthew Thunhorse with a sub. And a lot of storylines tonight and a lot of drama from last week, and good job by the league to put all that behind him and run good tonight, and congratulations to Anthony for the win.
And going forward next week to Martinsville, again, we're live here every Tuesday night, 9:30 Eastern Time, right here on this channel. You can follow our Twitters. You'll see them on screen right now. As always, we look forward to putting on a great show next week. We go to the Paperclip Martinsville Speedway, certainly a different environment than tonight, but all the fun racing that comes with it. So thank you again for everyone coming out tonight. We do appreciate the continued support. Thank you again to Aaron Vincent and Luis Salmazo for their generous donations, and obviously all the support that George Price has given us. So a big shout out to everybody. For Colin Fern, myself, John Booker, we thank you guys for coming out to Moto's broadcast tonight of the ECR Championship Racing Series here at Auto Club. Anthony Ditchner, your winner, and we'll see you guys next week at Martinsville.